Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So welcome to Cobol Programming Online Training Workshop. So this is organized by ICPEP-SG chapter. So we'll be focusing on the Cobol programming. So this schedule is on 23-30 May, which is today a start, and then until June 6th. So we have 3 sessions. You will be needing a laptop, okay, not just your phone. Okay, so maybe for Zoom you can do uh, uh, for our tawag dito sa ating meetings, you can use your phone for Zoom, but you will be needing a hardware, of course, a laptop or personal computer operating in Windows. Okay, I haven't tried in Mac OS to have installed the Mainframe Express, so that's why I'm preferably we need Windows operating system. And then microphone, speaker as well, because for you to speak up and then for you to listen when I do the training. Next is software. So for the software, although it was late that we sent yesterday only the software that you will be needing for this training. So you need to have a Windows XP. But for this time, wala na tayong mga Windows XP, right? So what you have is Windows 2000 or Windows 7. So that's why you need a virtual box, okay? You need to install a virtual box in your machine so that you could have a virtualization of your Windows XP. Because you can only install the Micro Focus Mainframe Express in your Windows XP, okay? Yesterday, I think John Michael sent you the instruction how to install the virtual box, how to install the Windows XP, and how to install the Mainframe Express. Okay, so you can just follow that instruction. So walang problema dun kasi na-follow na yun ni John. I did it as well using that Microsoft Word instruction. So gawin niyo yan sa mga laptop nyo or sa PC nyo. Okay, but it will not be required today. Okay, so you will not be needing that today. Of course, Zoom app. So we have tried already. Meron na kayong Zoom. Skype. Why I need Skype? Because dun sa Skype lang yung ating communication natin. So we can easily send some messages through Skype, and then yung mga materials na kailangan i-send, or if you have some query, you can use the Skype as well. Team viewer is optional because when I do the training since 2008 or 2009, so it was like more than 10 years I started training. So this is not just my first time training Cobol, okay? So this is my almost 10th year na. I'm doing training online and I'm doing training face-to-face. It depends sa client, okay? So for online, previously when I'm doing my training online, I'm just using Skype. Wala pang Zoom nun, okay? I'm using the Skype and I'm using a team viewer just to share the screen, to see their screen. So that's how I do the online training before 2009. Okay, I'm doing this before. And then just now we're using a Zoom. So this new for us as well. Sa mga bago talaga is, bago ang Zoom. Okay, Skype is still there. So this team viewer is optional if you want to, I mean, kasi team viewer, I can manage your desktop as well, right? I can do something on your desktop. So our schedule is every Saturday, starting 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So starting this Saturday, 20th May, next Saturday, and then June 6. Although hindi tayo nakapag-start in a sense ng 1, so meron tayong 30 minutes na late for this day. Okay? It's not bad kasi simula pa lang naman yan. So what is the scope? This is basically a batch Cobol programming workshop only. Okay. When I do the training about Cobol, it is divided into 5 modules actually. I'm training batch, kicks or online, GCL, DB2, and what's that? Apat lang pala. So let's start. So this material came from this is an 11th edition by John Wiley and Sons Incorporated. So I'm using this material ever since. So it's proven, okay pa rin naman tong gamitin. So even if it's 10 years back, I'm using this material, okay? So by Nancy Stern, Robert Stern, and James Lee. they're the one who prepared this maybe this information. Okay, so I start with chapter 1, an introduction. Okay, so we all start with introduction. Okay, wait lang ha, may nagpapa-admit pa. Okay, may nawala tayong isa eh. Clear, sir. Sorry. Okay. So hindi na ma-admit. May nawala, so I'll just add mark again. Okay, chapter 1 is an introduction. So we always start with introduction as you introduce yourself. So I will introduce to you what is a structured program design in Cobol. Okay, so this chapter objectives is to familiarize you with why Cobol is still a popular business-oriented language. Okay, so the practices, the techniques, and the history of Cobol, and some ANSI standard versions of Cobol, and the 4 divisions of a Cobol program. So anyone here have seen any Cobol program? I think John have seen, John Michael have seen, I think, right? So sa mga nakakita na ng Cobol program, so sa tingin nyo is like, uy, napakadali lang naman pala ng Cobol because maintindihan nyo yan sa ating pag-aaralan. Okay, so this chapter contain an overview of computer programming. So pang ano talaga to, basic. Application programs development process. What is the nature of Cobol, the history as well, and the version of ants. Okay, some techniques to improve your program design, some sample programs, how you going to write a Cobol code and how you're going to run it in your computer. Okay, so as a review, computer program. Okay, so this is a set of instructions that enables the computer to process the data. So some of you here are programmer already, so you know what is computer program. We need this set of instructions, okay, to process data. Okay, this is also called software. Now we have 2 types of computer programs for those for the benefit of those non-programmers in this training. So we have 2 types. We have operating system and we have application program. Okay, so but we will be more talking on about application programs. Application programs, these are written by programmers or developers, which is we have Java developer, they have their own application program. We have Python programmer, we have Cobol developers. Now they're writing application programs. This is to provide quick solution to a one-time problem, okay? For example, displaying average grade for a set of exam scores. In order for you to do that, you have to develop an application program. Or you can have it in a regularly scheduled basis wherein you want to print student transcript each semester. So you need an application program to do this. Now, we have also some customized applications. So if customization means if you want you want to write a specific program for doctors or car dealership, this is what we call customized application program. Okay, it's only necessary if user has special requirements. Okay, application package, these are written for general users who needs program to perform standard tasks. Okay, like budgeting, scheduling, or payroll, etc. These are easier and cheaper, okay, than writing a customized program because you could, this is for general users, okay? Now, let's move on to the program languages. So we have machine language, which is only language computer understands. So for, ano lang to ha, review lang ha, sa mga nagtatanong why I have to do this because I have to follow what is on the slides. So, but I have to make it as fast as I can at sana maintindihan pa rin ninyo. So just a review so that you know what we are doing in this lesson, okay? Machine, this is the only language computer understand, which is executed on computer must be in a machine language. Machine language programs difficult to write, correct? So that's why we have some symbolic language, which is the Cobol. Okay? So sabi ko nga sa kanina, some of you have seen Cobol codes. It's easy to understand. Why? Because Cobol is an English-like language. Okay? Kung marunong kayong mag-English, then you can really understand what is Cobol language is. Okay? Wala pa tayong Tagalog language na Cobol, ha? Okay. Cobol is easier than writing programs in machine language. Bakit? Kasi nga, we understand it. If machine, you cannot understand some of the machine language, correct? It's machine. Now, this symbolic language or Cobol must be translated or compiled into a machine language to run on computer. As I said earlier, only machine language computer can understand, correct? But for symbolic language like Cobol, kapag ito ay niran mo in a machine, in a computer, okay, you need to have a translator or compiler in order for this to become a machine language. Understand? So like Cobol, you have to understand that before you run it in your computer, you have to translate it. Okay? You have to compile it, okay, to a machine language. Gets? Now, so that's about programming language. So Cobol is a symbolic language that you need to compile, that you need to translate to a machine language in order to run in your computer. Okay. Now let's move on to the program development process. For those that is not into programming, not programmer per se, so this is an understanding for you how you're going to develop programs. Okay. So we have this step by step. Maybe developers know this if they're following the correct steps. Good for them. Okay. First is you have to determine the program specs. Okay. Before you develop a process or you develop a program, you have to understand what is the specification. Okay. Before you can go for design, number one should be coming first. Okay. You cannot go to step number 2 to design a program without understanding the spec, correct? So you have to do the second phase, which is design program using program planning tools. So like example, sa mga programmer, siguro it's good for me to ask question, right? Para hindi lang ako nagsasalita. Okay. Ready? Wala. Kasi baka natutulog na yung iba eh. Okay, can I ask John, Michael?
Yes.
Okay, number 2, I need your help for me to explain what this is all about. Number 2, design program using program planning tools. If you're into development, right? So ano yung ginagamit mong program planning tools?
Program planning tools.
Yeah, once you have the spec, okay, I already understand the specification for the program. I go for my number 2, which is design phase, right? How I'm going to design my program, how I'm going to design the layout of my program. So what do you think are the program planning tools that I have to use? Pass?
Parang wala naman akong ginagamit sa'yo.
Pass or refer a friend? Ano?
Parang wala naman akong ginagamit na planning tools.
O sige, tanong natin. Wala kang ginagamit pa, wala ka pa sa design. Okay, sige, si Christopher.
Siguro sir, mga mock-up ganyan. Mock-up.
Mock-up. If you're dealing with a screen, right?
UI.
You're using a UI mock-up. Okay, I'll give you some. So siguro naman hindi na tayo or siguro nakalimutan na natin yung mga flowchart, correct? Nakalimutan na yung mga flowchart diagram. So we're using this as our planning tools, okay? So for you to understand the whole program specs, sometimes we use flowchart, okay? So we use this for our design. So mock-up is good also as well when you're doing your design. Okay? So once you have all the analysis, once you have the design, then you can move on to number 3, which is coding. Okay? You cannot do number 3, okay? Huwag kayo mag-jump into number 3 pag hindi nyo alam yung 1 at saka 2. Especially for those non-developers, right? So this is a guide for you. For us, developers, maybe we may skip some of the development process, but it's also a good for us na maintindihan talaga muna natin yung specs, maintindihan natin yung what's the design. Because if you have poor design, lahat babalik yan talaga. So once you do the coding, make sure na alam mo na yung kinocode mo. You know what is the process all about. Okay, then you can do the coding and then you can do the programming. After you do the coding in Cobol, I don't know if some Java has this compiler thing. In Cobol, we have a compiler, so we compile the program. Okay, compilation. It's very important because it will not run if you did not compile the program. Okay, just for your information, Cobol needs a compiler. Okay, needs to compile for you to test or to check, verify your coding if there's some error, okay, within your syntax, okay. So the compiler will tell you some syntax errors, okay. So it's good for Cobol because you can easily, it will not allow you to run your Cobol without compiling. Okay, that's good about Cobol. Next, after you compile, then you make it sure na wala nang bug ang program mo, wala nang syntax error ang program mo. It will go as is to run in their program in your computer. Then you will do the testing. Okay? So testing, can I ask everyone sa mga may idea ng testing? Maybe I can ask Ian Sapida. Hello? Wala. Nawala si Ian. O may nawala ba? Parang nawala. Okay, sige. So, continue on sabihin nyo lang kung natutulog na kayo. Okay, testing, it's still need, okay? When you do program development, testing is very important. Kasi dyan malalaman kung tama yung ginawa mong program. Okay? Is my program is correct with the output that I expecting what is the output of my program. Okay? Lastly is documentation. Some of you are not doing this, but as a good programmer or a good developer, you have to document your program. Okay? That's why we're doing this step. Okay. So I think I discussed this in one, hindi ko na napuntahan yung bawat slide. So as I mentioned, we need to understand the program specs. Okay? So basahin nyo na lang tong slide na to, right? You as a programmer, you as a system analyst, you have to understand the specs of your program. Okay? Mahaba pa pala. Marami siya. So, for example, in Cobol, right? If you are dealing with reports, you have to understand the format of the input and the output data. This is during the program specifications. You have to understand the data names of each record, the location of each data, and the size of each data item. This is all under in the program specs. Okay? So, dapat alam na natin kung ano yung ating input, ano yung ating output. Okay? So, that's all about program specs. What else? For example, for your report, you need some printer spacing. You have to understand it first. You have to understand the printed layout, the heading, the detail, and the total lines. Okay? One of the specifications as well is the error messages. Very important because we have to tell them, oh, this is the error messages na kailangan nating i-handle. Okay? Na kailangan nating i-cater. So this is under program specs. Okay, after you understand all the program spec, then you do the design. Inulit ko lang yung sinabi ko kanina. So katulad ng sinabi ko, the program planning tools that you can use are flowcharts. You can have the pseudocode as well. This is English-like statements. And some hierarchy charts, that shows the relationship among sections of programs. Any question? O, ito na yung kaninang tanong. Then coding and entering to program is wherein you write the program itself. Okay? So, since we are dealing with Cobol, so you will be writing a Cobol language in a symbolic language. Okay, we called it also as a source program. Okay, so after you done the coding, you need the compiling. Okay, so as I said, we need a compiler. Compiler is a program that checks the source program for rule violations that translate the source program into an object program. Okay, so this is what do you call it? Source program is a symbolic. Iko lang yung pointer ko para magamit ko naman tong laser pointer. Okay, can you see my laser pointer? Okay, so the source program Okay, meron lang ako invite pa sa meeting room. Okay, we have Evelyn. Hello, Evelyn. Diyan pa. Okay, so Evelyn is here. Can you hear me, Evelyn? Yes, hello. Okay, so for Evelyn, so we're already at the something like 1/4 of our discussion. So just go along with us with this session. Can you see my screen, Evelyn? Yes, hopefully. Okay, so continuing on, moving on, as I mentioned, a source program in symbolic language must be translated by a compiler. In order for the machine, in order for the computer to understand, it has to be an object program in a machine language to operate or to run in your computer. Okay, gets? So again, Cobol needs a compiler because Cobol is a symbolic language that needs to be translated to a machine language. Okay, clear? So fully clear. Then after you have done your program compiled and zero error, in a sense, zero syntax error, it will return you a zero successful result when you are doing the compiling. So now you can test. Okay? You cannot test a program that is not compiled. Okay? So it will not run. So you need to compile and before test. Then testing. So this is also very important if you are into development. Kasi this will give the integrity of your program. Okay? Bakit ka ba gumawa ng program? What is that for? Okay? So that's why you need to test the output of that program. Okay? At kung walang result ang program mo, then what's the use of your program? So you have to test, you have to debug the program to ensure that it contains no errors. At the same time, testing, we are checking the two types of error, the compile time error and the execution error. Okay? So sometimes, we compile this successfully. Tama, yung compilation mo, tama. Walang zero. Yes, sabi mo, successful na yung program ko. I can run it. Yes, you can run the program. But, when you run the program, sa tingin mo ba wala ng error? You may still hit some error, especially if it's data error, if you did not handle the data exception, or nag-abent ang program mo for some issues, or walang output yung program mo. That's what we call execution error. Correct? Okay, naggawa ka ng program, nirun mo, nag-compile successful, nag-run ka, but looking at the output, bakit walang output? Now, what's that? That could be your, ito na yung compile time error, na-discuss ko na yan. Okay? Execution could be a logical error. Okay? Causes incorrect output. So, anong pinag-uusapan na natin dito? Your logic. What is your program logic? Okay? How you do the sequencing of the instructions in your program. Baka incorrect. Okay? You might have a wrong instruction coded in your program. So you have to be very careful about your logic. Okay? You can also have a runtime error. When you execute the program, wala kang logical error, but you have a runtime error. That is when a computer cannot execute the instruction. For example, attempt to divide by 0 or attempt to read a file that cannot be found. These are what we call runtime error. Nakuha nyo? So you can experience this. Okay? So pag naintindihan nyo ang mga bagay na ito, you have to check what is the problem during my execution. It could be a logical error or it could be a runtime error. Clear? So that's why you need some debugging. You have to check your desk. You have to correct some syntax errors. You have to do again the program walkthrough. Then you can execute the program. Clear? So that's a good thing to practice. Okay? Wag lang tayong mag-stop doon sa coding or analysis. Importante ang testing. You do some testing. Now, for last part is documentation. A good developer or a good programmer needs to be a good documentator or magaling din siya mag-document. Why? Because 10 years from now, you may not remember what you have did in the code, right? Hindi mo na uli maiintindihan yan. Documentation will help you to do that, okay? So this is a formal set of procedures, instruction to specify how to use the program, okay? Basically, this is written for those working with output and computer operators who run the program, maintenance programmers who make modifications to the program, especially like me now. When I left HDB, I've been in HDB for 10 years. So good thing I have my documentation. So the next programmer that who will handle my system will understand kung ano yung mga pinagagawa ko, di ba? Ang hirap naman no, wala ka na sa company mo, itatawagan ka pa ng boss mo, tatawagan ka pa ng mga, yung iba nga minsan, when I look at the code, right, I see some person there, sino bang gumawa ng program na ito, right? If I can search this person, good. Paano pag hindi ko na siya makita o makilala, right? So the next programmer will have all the headaches, heartaches to understand your program. So you get what I mean? So you have to document properly the program that you have done, you have did for the company. Okay? It's not just helping yourself, but helping the company that you have worked for. Okay? So hopefully sana ito ay isa sa mga ma-practice nating documentation. Okay, so that's all about how to do development. So I know some of you knows that already. This is just a review. Okay, so lecture tayo ngayon. So dapat ay hindi tayo maboring. I don't know. Ang hirap magsalita ng ganito. Ano? So nature of Cobol. So now let's move on to the Cobol. Nature of Cobol. This is a business-oriented language. Okay. It's more of a business-oriented language. This is a standard language. Okay, as I said, this is an English-like language. So Java code, or I have seen already the Java. So hindi lang siya ganun ka-English-like, no? Meron din siyang mga iba pang machine language siguro na sinasabi natin. Now, Cobol is relatively easy to understand. Okay? So this is really for wanted to be a programmer. Yung mga gustong magsimula as a developer or programmer, Cobol is one of the best platform to start with. Okay? This is really advisable. I've worked for, what else? Ano yung mga programming language na alam ko? Before, I know what is C, what is C++, what is Visual Basic. Now, Cobol is one of this. Ito yung pinakamatagal kong nahawakang language because I worked here for like 11 years. Now, I'm moving into Java. So, it's very easy for me to understand Java because of having this said programming languages. So, this is your advantage. Now, history. So, siguro rito, hindi pa kayo na ipapanganak. Cobol was developed in 1959. Okay? As a standard language to meet the needs of business. Okay? That's why it's a business-oriented language. There's a committee to develop. This committee to develop language convened by the Department of Defense in the U.S. Okay? It included the representatives from academia, business, computer manufacturers when they developed this Cobol. Okay, this is for your understanding kung gaano nakatanda si Cobol. I'm not sure when was Java was developed. Siguro ito na sa Sir Ryan. Sir Ryan, nandiyan ka pa ba? Wala. May kausap pa ba ako? Sige, hopefully you're still learning, ha? Okay, so this has been in 1959. There's some versions that come up with this Cobol from 1960s, 1968, okay? The first Cobol standard set by American National Standard Institute. 1974 is the second ANSI standard. And 1985 has been incorporated to a structured programming techniques. So that was 1985. As I said, I'm using this slide that was been used since 2009. Okay? So what I am showing you right now, what materials I am using is being used since 2009. So maybe this is an old, 10 years back. Pero as masasabi ko sa inyo na ginagamit ko siya ever since. So hindi pa rin naman ako nagpapalit ng materials ko when it comes to training COBOL programming. Okay? So still usable. What are the future? Okay? So 1985, it was currently most widely used. Okay? In 2008, there's a next standard wherein sabi ko nga sa inyo, good thing I have the slide, which is maybe after 2009, there may be some changes in COBOL, okay, that was not here in our materials, okay? So kung tatanungin niyo ako, I have not yet into that research. So masasabi ko lang sa inyo until 2008, okay? So what is the future? Sabi dito, it's likely to remain important language. Sabi nga nila, the integrity of the COBOL language is still there. Okay? Andun pa yung kanyang integrity kasi nagagamit at nagagamit pa rin siya. Although, sabi kasi ng iba, it's obsolete. I don't think so because they're still modernizing some COBOL platforms. Okay? So, mahirap siya in a sense dahil nag-run siya sa mainframe. And it's very expensive for a company to purchase a mainframe. So kaya mas makikita niyo lang ang COBOL using into a big company. Okay? Doon lang siya makikita. For small, medium scale companies, most likely they're not into purchasing mainframe. Okay? So that's why kung meron nang madidevelop na COBOL running into a Windows machine or something, what we call it, yung ano sabi ng mga programmer natin dyan, in a one machine lang na kaya niya na mag-run, why not? Diba? Dahil napakadali niya lang talagang intindihin. Kahit sino pwedeng gumawa ng COBOL lang ng program kasi English-like lang siya. Okay? But again, as the future of COBOL, ano bang masasabi ko dito? Future of COBOL is now migrating to Java. So that's it. Still used by many of the new program development. Okay, so there are still a lot of, when we speak about COBOL, there are very important is the line. Okay, I give you an example. Like me working in Accenture, I just need to cater for about 60,000 lines of codes. Yun yata yung binigay. Ganun din sa'yo John Michael, right? Meron kang specific na lines of codes na kailangan mong i-handle. So we're talking about lines of codes. So for me, as my work, I will be working for 1 year just to enhance the 60,000 lines of COBOL codes. That's it. That I have my work for 1 year, correct? So it's only 60,000 lines of codes. Okay? So, but we're talking about this, maybe this is based on America or US. That's why they say there's about 200 billion lines of codes that is being used. Okay, there is an added of 5 billion new lines of codes every year. Okay, and then this is used by 42.7% of business, medium to large in the US companies. This is only for US, no? So, of course, Singapore is different countries different. So, I don't have yet the information about the Singapore companies here. How many lines of codes they have in COBOL. Okay, but in HDB, still there's a lot. Sabi nga ng aking team lead ko, it's like sabi niya, she's been here for about 20 years and she said to me that migrating to different language from COBOL, it will take some time. Sabi niya, kahit mag-retire siya, hindi pa siguro na nako-convert lahat ng COBOL codes. So, yung mga nagpaplano na maging COBOL programmer, you still have the chance. Okay, so I'm still encouraging you. Why? Because in the US, sabi nga nila, they're searching for COBOL programmers. Kasi wala na nga, patay na yung mga nagko-COBOL. So that's why there's still, this COBOL is not being taught in the schools, right? So makukuha niyo na lang siya sa mga trainings. Good for you guys, you have this training. Why? Because when I was in the Philippines, I enrolled to a COBOL, this one, for 2 months, okay? My fee is like 50,000 pesos. Imagine mo yon. For you to understand COBOL, you have to pay 50,000 pesos. But this is for free for ICPEP. So, sana makita to ng iba. So, some of people don't want to go to listen about this language kasi nga, ano na to, it's not being used, but wrong. Because kahit sa Pilipinas, meron pa rin nag-hire ng mga Cobol programmers. Okay? Just to give you some idea, no, if you are a Cobol programmer in the Philippines, I don't know how much is the salary, but it's like 50,000 up for those with experience. Okay? So, if you have 5 to 10 years experience, mostly if you are working abroad and trying to stay in the Philippines, if you want, kahit naman ng mga Java, di ba, mga developer. So, ganun na rin yung range nila in terms of development. Okay? So, kahit pa paano may edge ka pa din kapag may alam ka sa Cobol. Okay. Remember the Y2K? Year 2000, siguro naman buhay na kayo. Sino pa bang hindi buhay noong 2000 dito? Sino mga pinanganak ng 2000 beyond? Okay, hindi nila na-experience yung Y2K problem. Okay, what is this Y2K? For those, of course, you still remember this, right? Cobol was affected of the Y2K problem. Why? Because the years stored as 2 digits in older programs to save space has been affected of the Y2K. Because previously only 2 yung kinikip lang natin sa database or sa mga data files natin. So a Y2K was affected because 1995 represented year 1995, correct? Pero nung nagkaroon ng Y2K problem, nagkaroon na ng mga problema yung mga data natin. Okay? So that's why Y2K, what do you call it? Meron siyang malaking impact sa mga Cobol codes. Okay? So, isa yan sa mga Phoenix natin. So, there are many calculations which with date incorrect starting in 2000. So, to find your age, if you were born in 1970, okay, if you hit the Y2K, what will happen? Your age will become 25 instead of how many? Okay, if you are born in 1970, pag na-hit mo yung 2000, you should be 25. Okay? Okay, calculation incorrect for year 20,000 and beyond. For example, naging, ano ka na? Negative 70 ka na. Di ba? Which, when age should be 30. Correct? Oh, yan. Naintindihan nyo na yung Y2K problem. So, billions of lines of codes, many written in Cobol, as need to be examined. And there's also updates or modification on the code to use the 4 digits for year. So to correct the age computation, you have to store 4 digit year, okay, not just 2. So you can get the correct age calculation. For example, 1995 to if you are 1970 born, so you will get a 25 years of age. If it's in 2000, you should be 30. So isa yan sa mga naging problem ng Cobol when Y2K came. Okay? Okay, so how you are going to improve your program design? 2 techniques. Okay? Okay, so this is what we call structured programming and top-down programming. Now, Cobol is one of the structured programming, okay? So, although, if you can see some of the Cobol codes, meron pa siyang mga go-to statements, but for you to eliminate some errors, eliminate the use of the go-to statements. Okay? Why? Because go-to means allowed skipping to different sections of program without returning to the starting point. May makikita kayo nito when I give you some Cobol code sample, so may makikita kayong go-to. Okay? But some of the go-to statements still being used for some purposes. Doon mo lang siya gamitin. Okay? But when you go to a different section, so hindi advisable ang paggamit ng go-to. Okay? So for your Cobol codes, it's easier to follow with a go-to-less programming. Question? Siguro some of you might not understand this, so at least magkaroon lang kayo ng idea. Yun lang naman ang purpose ngayon, for you to have some idea. Okay. Now, one of the structured programming is the program is divided into paragraph. Okay? So, the main paragraph or the module controls the logic flow using perform statements. So now, may mga maririnig na kayo ng mga Cobol terms like perform. Okay? perform statement. Okay? So, we perform paragraph 1, perform paragraph 2, perform paragraph 3. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, napaka-basic ng Cobol, English na English. Kayo, alam nyo, maintindihan niyo yung perform, right? Gawin niya. Parang ganon. Perform. I don't know how Java calls a paragraph or statements. So, but in Cobol, you just initiate this Cobol term perform. Now, the main module performs other modules when instruction in that module is required. Okay? Each module can be written and tested independently of others. Okay. Now, top-down. Another technique to make your programs easier to understand is top-down. Okay? So, what do you mean by top-down programming? The developer will develop the outline first. Then you add details for each of main steps and add further refinement for more complex steps. Okay? That is what we call top-down programming. So these are the two techniques when you want to make it easy to debug, madali nyo maintindihan ng program. So follow the structured programming or top-down programming. Okay. So for Cobol program, when you do a coding for Cobol, you code the main modules or the routines first. And then you code the intermediate modules next. And then the details differed to minor modules encoded last. Okay? So ganun tayo mag-code sa Cobol. Okay? Now, this interactive versus batch programs, I will skip because we will not be dealing with interactive anymore. Okay? So we will dealing with batch. So I just skip this one. But you can still read on your home. So pwede nyo pa rin siyang basahin. When you said the interactive, these are online. Ito yung mga nakikita nyo na online screen sa mga banks. Okay? In a black screen. Okay? So this is what we call interactive or online. So isa yan sa mga ginagawa natin ngayon when we would like to modernize some Cobol interactive online programs to Java. Because Java can do the front end, the interface, correct? Now, this is what we are doing. If we want to do a migration from interactive Cobol programs to Java, so kailangan natin maintindihan, basahin yung tinatawag natin na kicks language, okay? Which is not in this part of our session. But having the batch knowledge, batch programming is also easy for you to understand what is interactive. Okay? So, sa batch muna tayo. Okay, as I said, batch programs process large volumes of input at periodic intervals. Okay? So, I am not sure, just to ask, if you have learned about the Java batch. I don't know if Nomer, Christopher, John, have you dealt with Java batch before? Christopher? Nomer.
Not yet, sir. Not yet, sir.
Nino. Si Sir Ryan.
Sir Ryan.
Yung Java batch namin.
Sir Ryan. Wala si Sir Ryan. Which is, that will be, you need to understand as well. So, isa sa mga gagawin natin kasi when we do the modernized Java batch. Okay? But always remember that Cobol batch is different from Java batch because Cobol batch, sabi ko nga sa inyo, it can process large volumes of input. It could process millions of records, okay, at the periodic intervals. Now, the input data can be read in files or database. Output can be written in files or database as well. Any question? Any question? Wala pa naman. Wala pa naman. So, kukuha lang ako ng tubig. So, let's have a 2 minutes break. Yung mga gustong uminom ng tubig. Before we go to our, medyo lumalapit na tayo sa core ng Cobol codes. So, we will be studying the overview of the 4 divisions of Cobol. Okay? So, you can get some water if you want. Go to toilet if you want. So, 2 minutes break. Yan na ba lahat? Okay, let's have a roll call. Oh, sorry. Sabay, makikita ko naman kayo sa video nyo. Hindi na ba? Okay, no more? Sir Ryan? Are you learning so far? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ang gusto ko yung nagtatanong ha, so later if you cannot ask me questions, then I will ask questions. Meron lang ako kung sasagutin message. Check ko lang yung mga... Okay. Si Mark, nagsasalita ka na ba? Narinig ka na namin? Okay. Si Nomer, hindi ko pa naririnig. Okay, so I think everyone is here. So I will just stop my sharing first because I want to, pag nag-discuss na ako ng 4 division, I would like to see, to show you some Cobol codes.
Sir, I have a question.
Who's that? Pag may question, you can say, tell your name. Sino to?
Dion, sir, Dion.
Oh, Dion. Hello, Dion. Yes. Dion, what's your question?
Sir, I have a question. Is Cobol still being used in the industry? Because I know that was a long, long time ago. It
Yeah.
that was the first programming that my instructor taught me when I was still in college.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it for legacy systems only?
To answer your question, yes, Cobol is still being used, especially on larger scale of companies like banks, especially here in Singapore. Yeah, we're still using it some government agencies, so it's still being used.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of the machines that they are using.
Correct, because
is it considered to be legacy?
they have to use mainframe. Correct. They have to acquire mainframe, which is the big computers, right? And only the large company can buy this. Expensive, mahal siya, kaya hindi mo siya makikita sa lahat ng mga company na gumagamit nito. So makikita mo lang siya sa mga company na like banks, okay? For some government agency, okay, that can maintain mainframe. Kasi mahal talaga siya. So it's still being used. So kaya lang siya prefer, if you ask me about how it's being used, is it being used by all company, or sabi ko nga sa'yo, di ba, hindi lahat ng kumpanya kaya mag-purchase niyan. So yung may kakayanan. So medyo mahal. So kaya iilan lang din talaga ang gumagamit ng mainframe. So pero
Thank you, sir.
yeah, correct. Pero pag nag-search ka, may makikita ka pa rin naman ng mga Cobol developers. Meron pa rin yan. Or mainframe developers. Okay, so I would
Thank
like...
you, sir.
Yeah, correct. Thank you din sa tanong. So, ang i-share ko sa inyo is my whole desktop. Share. Can you see my whole desktop?
Yes.
Okay, so we will be discussing from now on is the overview of the 4 divisions, correct? I will open a sample Cobol code para mas madali nyo siyang maintindihan. Isang batch. Okay. Okay ba sa inyo ganito kalaki na text? Nakikita nyo yung ano, di ba? Yan. Palilitin ko lang yung ating Para side by side nakikita niyo yung PowerPoint. On the other side, you can see a batch program. Nakikita niyo pareho?
Yes.
Okay. So, in this way, mas madali ko siyang ma-explain. Yep. Okay, so hindi ko nakikita yung sa Zoom, no? In case na mayroong mga message or chat, let me check the chat. Okay. Oh, Pascal and Defi as programming language. Okay, so at least nababasa ko yung mga chat. Okay, so continuing on, so we'll be discussing the overview of the 4 divisions. Okay, so you can hear this term in Cobol, division. Okay, so hindi siya add, minus, subtract, but division. Ang pangit ng aking joke. Okay, in Cobol we have 4 divisions. Okay, it only contains up to 4 divisions. Clear? It has identification, environment division, data division, and procedure division. Nakikita niyo yung screen ko? Hindi ba siya maliit? Tignan sa inyo. And I don't know what you're using. Are you using phone or laptop? Baka sa phone maliit lang. Kaya ba? Sa mga gumagamit ng phone, nakikita niyo yung screen ko? O hindi?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hindi phone ang gamit niyo. Let me know kasi for me, para mas maka-adjust ako sa inyo, sa mga screen niyo. But if you can see this, my whole screen, I'm sharing now my whole desktop screen para mas madali kong maipakita sa inyo yung PowerPoint at the same time yung Cobol code. Okay? So this is my Cobol code on my left side. Okay? Ayan. Mas liitan pa ba natin? Tama na. Okay. So as I mentioned, we have 4 divisions. We have identification division, as I'm now highlighting on the text on the notepad. Okay, what you see on my notepad is an example of a Cobol program. Okay, it has 4 divisions. As said, we have identification division. You can see from the identification division, admit. Okay, in identification division, yung slide na to, although I'm just discussing division, but I will add up, okay? So for example, here, I'm now saying that identification, I have program ID, I have author, and I have date written, okay? That I can see in my identification division. Now, what you can see here, yung mga asterisk na to na box is a comment, okay? If you want to put a comment in your Cobol code, just put an asterisk on, later I will show you what is, saan kayo mag-start mag-code. Pasin nyo, no, I just opened the Cobol code in a notepad. Okay? Notepad to. So, pansin niyo meron siyang spaces dito. Bakit may space yan? Maya, may intindihan nyo. Because how we develop Cobol code will start from just what we call column number. Okay? So, pag nag-write kayo ng Cobol on the very first, magbibigay yan sa'yo ng syntax error. Okay? Okay, correct? Nakukuha? So mamaya itatakal ko yan sa inyo kung saan kayo mag-start mag-code sa Cobol. Now, as for this slide, I'm just telling you where can we found these divisions. Now, I can see first is my identification this division. This is to identify your program, who is the author of the program, when was the program written. Clear? Yes, hopefully clear kasi hindi ko kayo nakikita. Okay? So, you can put some comments if you want. Then, you can have another division which is the environment division. Anong meron sa environment division? Okay? You can see from here a configuration section. What is your source computer? What is the object computer? And then within your environment division, you have configuration section, right? You also have the input-output section. Ano ibig sabihin ng input-output section? Andito yung aking file control. I have defined my files, input files or output files in this input-output section. Dito kami mag-define ng mga file sa Cobol. Okay? So, makakaintindi lang nito mga Cobol programmers. So, now, this is how we define the files here. Now, we have the data division. Pag sinabi natin data division, andito yung what is the layout of my file? Talks about the data. How I'm going to define my data. Okay? So, andito yung aking file section. Now, file section correspond to my input and output section. So, kung ilan yung na-define dito na files on my file control, it's the same thing I should define it in my file section. Clear? Oh, this is my file section. Okay. Now, inside my data division, I have my working storage section. What is in my working storage section? Andito yung aking mga working variables. Okay? So, andito yung aking mga checking of status, my counter, if I want some counter. This is how I define the data. Okay? With picture clause, how many character. Okay? What am I using? Is it alphanumeric? X means alphanumeric. 9 means numeric. So, that's how we read Cobol Cobol codes. Okay? So, may mga ibig sabihin yung mga yan. Although it's an English-like, but there's some still that need to understand as a programmer. What do you mean by pick extend? What do you mean by pick 94? Okay? That will be tackled on the next succeeding chapters. Okay? I'm just showing you what this is Cobol program looks like. Now, again, tapos na tayo sa data division. This is all my working variables I define on my data division. This is how I define my, say if I want to do with my reporting. So, ganyan kami mag-define ng mga layout. Okay, I have the filler, how many you can see, no, may makikita kayo ng mga dealing with reports. So you can see this heading 1, heading 2. Okay, so this is the title of my heading 1, heading 2, etc. Yan, ganyan din kami. So it's like parang sinasabi nyo, ay parang mano-mano pala dito sa Cobol. Yeah, you have to understand the columns. Yun lang siguro dito, matututo ka dito magbilang kung saan mo ilalagay yung fields. Okay? That's how we do it in Cobol. Okay? Now, the last part of the division is the procedure division. See? This is my procedure division. Okay? Within my procedure division, it talks about my procedure. Okay? How my program works. How I'm going to process my program. Okay, this all in procedure division. So I have my paragraph main, paragraph open files. I have my paragraph process heading. Process, this is the main process paragraph. See how I read a file, how I read another file, how to check the etc. How to compute an age. I have my own paragraph for that. In Java, I don't know, they call it as class, correct? Or ano ba? I-review ko pa uli yung aking Java knowledge. Nakalimutan ko na 2 years ago. So this is how you going to create your own paragraph. You compute the age. Okay? Alam niyo yung mga if-else condition, right? Okay, how I read a file. Yes, that's all. How I end this procedure division? By exit. Yeah, it's the end of the program. Okay? May question? Clear? Anyway, ang pinag-uusapan lang natin ngayon is divisions. Okay? Just to tell you that Cobol has only 4 divisions. Again, identification division, environment division, data division, and procedure division. So, sa uluhin nyo na yan. Or I can't say sa uluhin, but understand it. Okay? How many divisions we have in Cobol? 4. Again, in the identification, environment, data, procedure.
And procedure.
Correct. Okay. So, na-explain ko na ha. So, I will not go to each screen slides. So, that's what I discussed in a fastest way I can. Okay. So, I skip this. Okay. Let's move to the picture clause. Are we on the same page? Can you see my screen, picture clause?
Yes.
Okay. Where can I find the picture clause? Okay, I can find it in my working storage section. Okay, let me give you an example. Maybe from here, WS counter. Okay. Picture clause. Okay. You can hear this word in Cobol, pick. Pick. At di ba pag sinasabi, oh, pick na tayo, it's picture. Okay? Pick means picture. 0-1 level begins definition of each fields. Okay? We have leveling in Cobol. We have 0-1, okay, is the highest level. Okay, then 0-3 is under 0-1. It depends on your leveling. Now, picture or pick class describes the type of data. Okay, okay, what do you mean by the type of data? Okay, I have a picture class and I have a type of data which is 9. Okay, okay, when you see a picture class that is 9, it means numeric. Okay, clear ba tayo doon? So for example, I define a WS page counter. My picture class for WS page counter is pick93. Ano ibig sabihin ng pick93? It's a numeric with 3 numeric bytes. Clear? Okay. For non-numeric, I define as X. Okay. Enclosed in open and close parentheses is the number of bytes. Okay, or the size. The size of the field determined by the number of 9s or the numbers of X's. Any question? Dali lang, di ba? Ganyan lang tayo mag-define ng data type sa Cobol. Okay, you can relate from your Java. You have to input as an integer, correct? String, is it? Car?
Question para.
Question.
Dalawa lang yung type of data, numeric and non-numeric.
Numeric and non-numeric, we still have a lot. Meron tayong sample. I can show you some. But mostly is X and 9s. Some are Z. This one is what we called editable, what do you call it? Ano ba yung Z? Zero, ibig sabihin ng Z is 0. So when you define as pick ZZ9, ang display niya is 009. So ang tawag dito ay edited picture class. Okay? So ginagamit to normally sa mga reportings for displaying of your edited fields. Okay? So but normally is X and 9s. Yes, X and 9s. Okay. Dadaan tayo doon. Pupuntahan natin yung iba pang data types. Okay? So this is picture clause. Next. Okay. Ito pa, yung tanong mo dyan, Michael. Okay. We have like this, pick99v99. What does it mean? The pick9v99 includes v to show an assumed decimal point position. So if I look at it, this is only 4 bytes, okay? Not 5. Because my v means assumed decimal point position. Okay? Pag nakakita kayo ng ganyan, most likely this is dealing with what do you call it? Mga amount or price. I don't know if I have this sample. I show you something. Wala tayo itong 9v. So F. Can I find F? 9v. Cannot find in this sample program na may 9v. Okay, anyway, pag nakakita kayo ng code na mayroong ganito, sana. Okay, 9v means v is an implied decimal point. Okay, when you look at the file or the input file or the data file, you cannot see a point, a literal decimal point. Okay, but within your code, it will be processed as a numeric value with decimal places. Okay, so maiintindihan nyo yan kapag nag-handle kayo ng mga amounts. Okay, so user enters decimal point, so we use this picture clause. Okay? Any question? Okay, so yung iba, may makikita kayo na pick xxx, walang problema yan. Is pick xxx also same as pick x3. It's the same. Yung pick x1 na to na nakikita nyo, it can also be defined as pick x. Walang problema yan. Okay? It's the same. It's 1 byte. Minsan naglalagay lang tayo ng mga size for us to understand, para maging ano lang, maging format, maging ano lang siya, uniform with the others variables. But it's fine. You can put xxx. Walang problema. Kaya lang pag mahaba na, they use a size number. Okay? It's good. Like this. Pwedeng 1, pwedeng 0, 1. Walang problema dyan. Okay? Any question about the data picture clause? Wala. Okay, procedure division, as I mentioned, this is the instruction wherein how you're going to process the program. Organizations is planned, okay, before the coding. Again, you need a pseudocode or English-like description. Okay. So, that's it. You start. Balik tayo sa procedure division. So, tapos na tayo sa, this is how you're going to start with. In your procedure division, I have my main paragraph. Okay? You can see from here, no, ang dali lang maintindihan ang code pag binasa mo ang Cobol. Ang sabi ko sa main, I have to perform open files. After I open the files, so papansin niyo perform. Perform is a Cobol, what you call it, common term. It's a syntax here in Cobol, perform. So, English na English. Di ba? Madaling maintindihan. Gawin mo itong 1,000 paragraph until 1,000 exit. Parang ganon. So, I will be using this paragraph example. No? I will be opening my input files, my input-output, and my output. Okay? So, ganyan ang pag-open ng files sa Cobol. So, this is just checking of the status of its open status. Then, that's it. Gagawin niya yun hanggang dito lang. 1,000 exit. Babalik na ulit ako sa aking main. Ganyan ang pag-execute ng mga paragraph sa procedure division. Any question? Next, after ko magawa si 1,000, then gagawin ko na si 2,000. Remember, you see this, there's a 2,000 process until end of file. Parang ganon. See, ito yung pinaka parang the main structure of my procedure division. Okay? Pasin mo, pag pupunta ako sa 2,000, if I go to my 2,000 process, where's my 2,000? Okay, ito i-execute niya yan. It's a loop, right? It will, yes, gagawin niya yon until the condition met. And then, pag nagawa niya na yung 2,000 process ko, then that's the end of my program. Madali ba o wala? Sisiyo lang sa mga nagja-Java dyan. Any question? Clear? Okay, so clear ha? So walang tanong. So this is how we execute our paragraph in our procedure division. Okay, so that's it. Puso tayo sa procedure division. Now, perform and perform. As I mentioned, performing a paragraph, just give an instruction, perform. Okay? Like this one, I have a perform, which is I have a condition until. This is how I work with my data. Okay? If I'm reading a file, let's say for example, my file has 100 records. Okay? This 2,000 process paragraph will process that 100 records until end of file. Okay? So pag pupuntahan ko yung 2,000 process ko, you can see from here, there's a different, meron na siya ditong, nandito na sa loob ng process ko, yung pagbabasa ng file. Okay? And this is the conditions within my 2,000 process. Anyway, this process is like I am comparing two files, actually. I'm comparing F800 and F200 key. Okay? If it's match, I will be doing this process. See? I have a lot of process if it's match. If unmatch, here, just read one file or the other file for me to match again the records or the data with the two files. This is how we do the process. Of course, it depends on your requirements. No? Sabi ko nga sa inyo, bago kayo mag-code, you have to understand what is the specs. Maybe the specs of this program is to match two files, process the matching record, okay, something like this. I'm doing this processing if it's a match, okay, with the key that I want to process. and then it will do the instructions that I need to do with this match records. If it's not match, then maybe I'll go to make sure that I have to find match on the file. So ganun ang paggamit ng perform ng ating procedure division. Okay? So that is, yeah. So I have given you some sample program already. So I'll just skip this. Data division. Okay, going back. Balik tayo sa data division. Okay, I'm here at the data division, right? In data division, we have file section, as I mentioned. It describes the format of the input and the output files, okay? So for programmers, alam naman natin, for us to process a data, we have to have an input, okay? You cannot create, or maybe if you can still create an output without an input, but of course you need, importantly, the input for you to process an output, correct? Correct. So basically, we need an input to have an output. Now, in data division, as I mentioned, we have the picture clause kanina. As we can see, yeah, this picture clause. Decimal point not stored input records. We use the V for the implied decimal for alignment. Okay? Procedure divisions, alam niyo na yan. Okay, we start with the main module. Okay, read statement. Okay. In this chapter, you will see a read statement. What is this read? Read statement means reads one record into program storage area. Okay. I give you an example of a read statement. Read. Yeah. Okay, this one, 2,100. Can you see my 2,100 paragraph? Okay. This read statement, ang sabi rito, it reads one record. One record. Okay? Clear? Only one record. That's why we need a loop if we wanted to read multiple records. Okay? But this read statement can only read one record. Okay? It takes one of two actions depending on whether record was read. Okay, see from my statement, read, this is my file, F200, at end, move Y. If I reach the end of file, I will exit this 2,100. But if not, I'll still doing this instruction to string the zone, the registration number into one field. Okay, that's what this 2,100 paragraph means. Any question? Now, if you ask me about the syntax of add string, we will move to that on the next slides. But at least ngayon, magkaroon lang kayo ng idea, oh, this is how I'm going to read the file. Okay? How I'm going to number or count my counter when I read the file. I can put it here, okay, in my paragraph read, F200. And then if I want to process some of the records or to put it into one variable, so for example, this one, I'm stringing some fields into one variable, I can do that. Okay? I can put that in my one paragraph. Okay? Ay, sorry, na-stop share ko ba? Hindi. So, I will skip this. And that's the end of our chapter 1. Ang dami pala nating slides, no? So, again, participants, we have successfully finished the chapter 1 for about 1.5 hours. So imagine we are dealing with 15 chapters per se. So I'm not sure if I can finish this within 3 sessions. Pero yung mga katulad ng mga nasabi ko na, na-touch na natin yung mga susunod na mga slides sa mga previous, sa mga next chapter. So medyo at least may idea na kayo. Again, for this chapter 1, what we have discussed is the nature of Cobol, which is, it is an English-like language used widely for business programming. Okay. Again, this was prepared 2008, before 2008. So that's why they said there will be new standard coming out soon, and it's likely to remain important language. As like Sir Diane mentioned us a while ago, if it's still being used, yes, sir, it's still being used. If you want to work in Singapore, they are still looking for Cobol programmers. Meron at meron pa rin. So it's not too late. What I'm saying is, 5 years from now, or say you try, you have an idea about this Cobol, then you apply for Cobol. Okay? And again, in this chapter, we just studied that Cobol has 4 divisions. The identification division, as I mentioned, ito lang yung identification division. Okay? Dito napapaloob yung program ID, author, date written. Okay? And then we have the environment division, which is you configure your computer. Okay, here you have to specify your files that you are going to use. That's why it's called file control. Okay, yan yung my environment division. Then data division, as said, you have your file section and you have your working storage section wherein you will define all your data variables. Okay, lastly, procedure division is where you code your instructions, how you're going to process the input, how you're going to create the output. So it depends on your procedure divisions. Again, procedure divisions is divided into paragraph, which is I mentioned. This is how we define the paragraph. Okay. There's yung nakikita nyo dyang 00, it's just a convention. Okay. So you can put main, walang problema dyan, as long that it's unique. Okay. You can put like this, main, walang problema. But sometimes we put numbering. First, isip to kasi hindi natin masasaulo lahat ng paragraph name. Or siguro pag may kinakausap ka na isa pang program, oh, you can go to the 000 paragraph. Alam niyo na yon, pupuntahan niyo na yung 00. Okay? So, that's how we divide the procedure division into paragraph or modules. And that's the end of our chapter 1. Any question? Andyan pa ba kaya? Sa bio. Yes, participant is there. Yan, nakikita ko pa yan. Let me check. Christopher, dyan ka pa? John Michael, Mark, Ian, Evelyn still there. Nomer, dyan pa. Sir Diane, Sammy, are you still there, Sammy? Oh, dyan pa siguro. Ilan na lang tayo? Nawala na yata si Sir Ryan. So, we are 9. Okay, so we still have 2 hours for this lesson. Okay. So, nakita nyo na yung Cobol code? Any violent reaction? Napakadali o napakahirap? Ang dali lang pala, no? Ganyan lang pala magawa ng Cobol codes. Yes. Kayang-kayang gawin yan ng mga non-experienced programmer. Okay? So let's move on to our. I was thinking that I could finish based on my scope today. Okay, I just show you. May nakikita na silang batch exercise. Oo, may mga papagawa na ako sa inyo. Where's my course outline? Okay. So if you can see my screen, right, there are, based on your chapters, I have given you 15. Pero magko-concentrate lang ako dito sa 15 chapters na to. Okay, so nagawa na natin yung chapter 1. Actually, in chapter 2 is about identification, environment division. Chapter 3 is the data division. Chapter 4 is about procedure division, which is, nabigyan ko na kayo ng glimpse, right? Dun sa chapter 1. So yung chapter 2, 3, and 4 is more into detail how you're going to create your identification division, environment division, data division, and procedure division. Okay? Hopefully, I can finish the next 3 chapters today. Okay? Hopefully, kasi pag meron na kayong basic background or basic idea how to create these divisions, pwede na. Kasi the rest is, some of the syntax. How you're going to move the data, how you're going to do the computing, decision-making, if and evaluate. So this is bibigyan ko lang kayo ng scope about what you are going to learn with these sessions on the next coming 2 sessions. So how to use the if, evaluate statement, perform how you're going to do some validation, some array, how you can handle the array, how you handle the sequential files, etc. Okay? Pero sana ay mabilisan ko siyang maitapos. Okay? So before we move on to chapter 2, 3, and 4, okay, as reminder, I have sent you the how to install later on, I will show you how to use the Mainframe Express on this day. Okay? So you have to have VirtualBox, Mainframe Express, Windows XP, and Mainframe Express installed in your PC or your laptop. So, sinend ko naman na yon, installation manual. How to use? Nasa inyo na yun, right? So, mamaya is yung paggamit na lang na Mainframe Express yung ituturo ko. Okay. So, sino pa? Sige. Kahapon nyo lang naman yung na-receive. So, I'm not expecting that everyone already installed it. So, it's okay. So, gawin nyo na lang yun after ng session natin. Now, for those who have problem in installing the software, yung iba kasi because of the requirement. Ako kasi, just to give you my experience, I have installed it in MacBook, pero hindi ako nakapagtuloy dun sa Mainframe Express. Maybe because of some components na kailangan ng Mainframe Express. So kaya sinasabi ko na you can only install it in Windows kasi wala pa ako na-try na mag-install sa Mac, sa OS, iOS. So Windows, if you talk about, some is asking, can I install directly on Windows 2000, Windows 7? I haven't tried. I-try nyo directly i-install yung Mainframe Express sa Windows 2000 or Windows 7. If you did not hit any error, then it's fine. So no problem. You can run with Mainframe Express in this version of OS. Kaya lang, I have tried in my Windows 7, hindi nga siya gumana. So I need a virtual box for me to have a Windows XP. Wala na tayong Windows XP. Okay? So that's why in the installation guide I sent, or John had sent, you have to install a virtual box first. The virtual box for you to install the Windows XP. And then, from the Windows XP, install the Mainframe Express. Okay? Some of you may encounter, like me, I did it in my Windows 7. Nag-install ako ng virtual box. Okay? But when I am installing the Windows XP, I'm getting a problem with the Windows 7. Maybe because my desktop is, configured matagal na or whatever. I don't know. May mga components siya. Like for example, the virtualization cannot be enabled. So I cannot see it from my BIOS. So hindi ko siya nagawa. So it's a failure again. So for my second device. That's why I bought another laptop, which is Windows 2000. Ito yung sinabi ko nga sa kanila. Bumili ako ng Windows 2000 for this training. That's why kung babaliwalain yung training na to, so I'm not blaming. So but I mean is I tried as much as possible to find a device where I can install my Mainframe Express. So dito nag-successful. Una, nagka-problem ako because the virtualization is not enabled. So I need to go into BIOS setup. So for those problem na may encounter nyo, for example, your PC, desktop, or laptop cannot install the VirtualBox or the Windows XP, check your BIOS, okay? Check first your BIOS setup, enable your virtualization. So that's why the problem. Yung kasi na-encounter ko dito sa laptop ko, nagkaroon ako ng problem, I cannot install the Windows XP. Kasi nga, hindi ako naka-enable. Sasabihin naman sa'yo nung error na, you need to enable the virtualization. So you go back to your BIOS, check nyo yung virtualization nyo doon, baka naka-disable. Enable nyo lang yon. Then after nun, after I enabled the virtualization, so I was able to install the Windows XP and so on. So yun lang po yung mga, in case na magkaroon kayo ng problem sa pag-i-install ng software. But for some, like for example, John Michael, installed niya naman yun. So walang problema. You can ask John Michael. You can ask me if you have some problems. I think Evelyn has encountered a problem, right? Yeah, let's try. Ang ginawa ko lang, nag-Google lang ako, nag-YouTube ako, paano enable yung virtualization sa BIOS. Kasi different laptop, different device has its own, setting up of BIOS. So, tanungin niyo si Mark. Si Mark is one of the, naman natin dyan, baka makakatulong si Mark sa inyo how to handle your device. Okay? Okay ba yun, Mark?
Yes.
Yeah, kasi may kanya-kanyang settings yan. I think Mark can help because is technical support. So, kaya niyang i-team view yung mga desktop nyo. Okay? Meron tayong team viewer. Pag nag-check kayo sa website, may team viewer dyan na i-run mo lang, bigay mo lang sa kung sino yung magte-test o mag-check ng desktop mo, kayang gawin ni Mark yon. Tama, Mark? Team viewer, kaya mo ma-access yung desktop namin. Kaya, ewan ko lang pag BIOS, kasi sa BIOS is BIOS na, so hindi na kayang i-team viewer yun. Wala ako tubig. Okay, so let's move on. Chapter 2. Okay, so same thing, andito pa rin yung Cobol code ko para mas madaling maintindihan niyo. I'm discussing from the current sample of Cobol code with regards to the presentation. Okay, minimize ko lang kayo. So far clear, ha? So basic lang yung chapter 1 for divisions. Now let's move to chapter 2. Chapter 2 is mainly for identification and environment. So ito yung itatakal ng chapter 2, which I already discussed. Okay, so again, objective, you should know the structure of a Cobol program, how you're going to code, okay? Again, in this chapter, you will understand the coding and the format rules. So listen carefully. Sabi ko sa inyo kanina, di ba? I did not start from my column 1, okay? Because we have formatting rules. Nakikita niyo ba? Okay, how you're going to code the identification and environment in this chapter. Okay, so nakikita nyo? Maliit? Okay lang? Try to remove some of the para buong nakikita. Kasi hindi ko na siya slideshow para we can see hand on hand. Okay, so originally each Cobol instruction is coded on a single line of 80 characters. Take note of this. Okay? So, hindi ko alam kung mayroong limit ang Java coding or some other languages, but Cobol has. Okay? You can only code a single line in an 80 characters. Okay? That's why, mapapansin niyo yung Cobol code ko, if I put some, meron ba ditong margin, ruler, edit, view, status bar, wala.
Yan,
Sa baba. Sa baba.
Sa baba.
Ito lang, makikita niyo lang yung line, correct? So, pansinin niyo yung last line ko, column 67, correct? Nakikita niyo? Okay. So, 67, hindi na pumunta sa 68. Basta hanggang dito lang. Oh, pansinin niyo hanggang 70 lang, hanggang max na yata yung 67 na line. Okay, counted tong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? It means I have to start on my 8th position. Ganun tayo mag-code sa Cobol. Okay? So again, Cobol code can only be coded in a single line of 80 characters. The positions on line reserved for special purposes. The rules may be differ for your compiler, and some rules are dropped in 2008. Okay? I see. Again, so let's go to the coding rules. If you want to code a Cobol code, you have to be aware of the coding rules because columns 1 to 6, 73 to 80 are optional and rarely used today. Okay? That's why we're not using it, right? We're not using column 1 to 6, 73 to 80. Okay? We start with columns 8 actually. So column 7, itong napapansin nyo na asterisk na yan is column 7 yan. Dito kasi 6 pero pag tingnan ko 7. Ay, 7, ayan. Napapansin nyo yung sa baba, column 7. Yan. Column 7 is for the continuation, comment, and starting new page. Okay? So pag ako ay naglagay ng asterisk sa 8, syntax error na yan. Okay? Magbibigay sa akin ng compile error. Mag-error yung code. Okay? So you have to put your comment with asterisk. Okay, start with asterisk in column 7. Okay, clear? Now we start Cobol program statements at column 8. This one is column 8. Kaya pansinin nyo, nasa column 8 yan. 8 yan, nasa 8 yan, nasa 8 yung mga column Cobol code statements natin. Okay, clear? Any question? Klaro? May natutunan? So again, columns 8 to 72 where we can code our Cobol program statements. That's our coding rules. 7 is we put the comment. Okay. Now,
Sir,
yes. Sino yun?
may sample ba dyan ng continuation? Yun sa,
Ito, yung ganito,
yung continuation.
which is dash. I don't know if I have here, pero minsan may makikita kang ganyan. Lalo na sa mga headings, ginagamit yung continuation. I have it, but this one don't have eh. Sa ibang program may makikita kayo. Okay, if you see a slash, it means page break when printing on a source listing. When you see a dash, it means continuation. For example, yung title ko, ito. I go with my report. This one, report. For example, this one, yung title ko na to, allocation, blah, 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 blah. Then, it's more than 80 characters, correct? Makakat yan eh. So, for me to continue that, I have to stop from 80 or say 65. Yeah. Yan. Maglalagay lang ako ng dash on my 7 column. 7 na ba yan? Hirap mag-code sa walang ano yun. 7. Yan. That's my continuation. Pwedeng ganyan din. Pwede rin ganyan. Pwede ko siyang lagyan ng ganyan. Ano yan? Understandable na continuation na siya. Okay? So, at least nakita nyo yung paggamit ng column 7. Importante siya. Basically, we used it for comments. For comments. Period. Okay, clear? So that's column 7. Now, columns 8 to 72. Let's go on another rule. We have a margin rules. First rule is coding rules. Okay? Alam niyo na yung coding rules. Now, let's move to the margin rules. Columns 8 to 72 is divided into 2 areas, which is area A and area B. Ano ibig sabihin ng area A, area B? Area A means columns 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay? Area B is columns 12 to 72. Take note of this area. Very important ito. Okay? Kasi iba nakakalimutan na to eh. They just code anywhere, but no, we have area A and we have area B. Okay? Area A includes 8, 9, 10, 11. Area B is 12 to 72. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Division, section, paragraph names must all begin in area A. So, ibig sabihin, when I do the identification division, okay, environment division, dapat nandito siya mag-i-start sa area A. I can start from column 11, no problem. Pero pag nilagay ko siya sa column 12, error na yun. Clear? So, the first letter of a name must begin in columns 8, 9, 10, and 11. And it can expand or extend into area B. No problem. Kasi for example, environment division, eh, hindi lang naman 4 characters yan, di ba? So, I can extend to area B. So, it's no problem. So, all the division names, all the section names, all the paragraph names must all begin in area A. Okay. Now, ano naman meron sa area B? All other statements like clauses, all other statements or clauses, sentences begin everywhere in columns 12, 13, 14, etc. Okay? So where can I find the statements, the clause, the sentences? Of course, in each division. Sa bawat division, meron tayong mga statements. Okay? Meron tayong clause at meron tayong sentence. English, di ba? English na English. So, always remember the margin rules, area A and area B. It gives an impact, okay, when you are coding Cobol. Question? So, wala. Now, review. Division and section names This begins in area A and with a period. Okay, ito ha, I just have to take note that period is very important in Cobol. Matanggalan ko to ng period, mag-error ako. So period means end of my division name, paragraph name, okay, section names, and even my sentence. Sino ritong gumagawa ng sentence na walang period? Hindi dire-diretso kang magsalita. Again, so kung ang sentences natin nilalagyan natin ng period, Cobol needs period as well. Okay? For the period means to define the end. Okay? Ito yung division name ko, itong paragraph name ko, ito ang section name ko, this is my sentence, this is my statement, I need to end. Okay? So that's why period is very important in Cobol. Diyan normally nagkakamali or nagkakaproblema. Minsan yan yung mahirap mag-debug. Just to mention this to John or for the rest who will be joining the Accenture when you are going to study Cobol. Isa yan sa mga problema natin na nagbabasa ng Cobol. Akala mo it's a bug na bakit hindi niya magagawa yung statement na to kasi hindi mo napansin yung period. But when you see a period, it means end. Kasi yung iba naglalagay ng if, may end if. But what if the Cobol code has no end if? Sasabihin mo, oh, this is a bug. Wala siyang end if. No. Because pag may period na siya doon, it means end if na yun. Get? So period is very important. Okay? Now paragraph names, as I said, this is begin in area A, end with a period, followed by space. Okay? May appear online by themselves or with other entries. Now statements. Okay. Statements are begins in area B or sentences. Okay. It may appear online by themselves or with other entry. So what are the statements? Example is open, write, read. Yung kanina, yung binigay ko sa inyo sample kanina is about read the file. So these are statements. May end with a period but not recommended. But again, I said period is you have to check. Okay. Sentences, paragraph made up of one or more statements. So yun ha, alam nyo ha, ang statement is a statement. But if one or more statements, we called it sentences. Clear? So alam nyo na yung pagkakaiba ng statement, alam nyo ang pagkakaiba ng sentences. If this is more one statements, we call it sentence. Diba? Parang English teacher lang ako sa inyo. Okay, identification division, as I said. Okay. This is to provide identifying information about the program. Okay, so what is my program name or program ID? Program ID only required paragraph. So in identification division, some has author and date. Walang problema doon. But required is required. Okay, optional is optional. You can see from these slides. Okay, you can have your own identification division without the author or date written. No problem. But program ID is required. Okay? So, pag tinanong mo, what is a program ID? Program ID is a paragraph name. Okay? Author is a paragraph name. Date written is a paragraph name. Okay, klaro? Okay, when you do the program ID, maximum is 8 characters in Cobol. Okay, so you can have 2, you can have 4 characters, 8, but 9 is an error. Okay, so 8 characters lang ang program ID natin. I'm not sure if the new versions can accept more than 8 characters. Okay, so far my experience is only 8 characters. Okay? Okay, the formatting is this. So makikita nyo to sa slides as you go on. So hindi ko na siya iisa-isahin, but I show you the format. I show you the actual sample already. Correct? This is the format. Always ends with a period for division. Program ID ends with a period. And then what is your program ID name? Author. Yung makikita nyo dito sa slides na mga open and close bracket, it means optional. Okay? So this is what is good about this presentation. Okay? So we begin sa inyo yung format. Now, you have to understand the instruction formats as I said. Okay? Instruction formats describes syntax of all parts of Cobol language. Okay? Rules. Okay, some rules. Uppercase words are Cobol reserved words. Okay, these rules is for this PowerPoint presentation. Okay? So kung may makikita kayo rito sa PowerPoint presentations nyo na uppercase, they're called what we call Cobol reserved words. If you see some lowercase words, they are user-defined entries. Example, yung naka-uppercase ko na identification division, Cobol reserved words yon. Okay? The program name is what we call user-defined entries. Okay? Yung tawag natin mga non-static. Okay? So you can change it. Any question? So yun yung guide ha. When you read through all the slides, if you see some uppercase, Cobol reserved word yon for the formats, okay? For the lowercase, they are user-defined, okay? Saan na tayo? Underline words, again, underline words are required, okay? Punctuation, if specified, is required. Yan, nasabi ko na kanina, naunahan ko si slide, bracket means optional, okay? Braces means one of the enclosed items required, but ellipsis means entry may be repeated, okay? So, may ganyan yung instruction formats natin dito sa slides. That's why author is optional, okay? So, nasa sa inyo yan kung gusto nyo ilagay yung author nyo. Okay, tapos na tayo sa identification division. Simple lang kasi ito lang naman yun. We don't have to discuss more about this, but now you know the rules, correct? How you're going to define your identification division. Now, let's move to the environment division. Okay, basically, the environment division describes the files, what computer devices that you are going to use to process them. Okay, what are the required these are required by programs that process the files. Okay, so for example, this example code. So normally we trying to copy as is. Ito yung ginagamit nating source in object computer. So no problem. So I don't have any idea of the source in object. So but basically we are using IBM-3090. Okay, so you can use this as default. Sections and divisions. Okay. In my environment division, I have different sections. Okay. I have configuration section. I have input-output section. Yun lang. Dahil pala yun. Kala ko more than 2. Configuration. Again, it describes the computer used to compile or execute the program. Optional and recommended that you omit it. Okay. So, nasa sa inyo, but this one is optional. Okay, input-output section is this one. Describes the input and output files and devices used by the program. Required for all programs using files. So, sa mga gagamit ng files, dapat maintindihan nyo kung paano to dinidefine. Okay, this is the format. I have my input-output section. I have my file control. Select. Again, yung mga underlined na yan is what? Required. Okay, so I have a select statement here. Select file name, assign to implementer name 1, organization is sequential. So, malamang tinatanong sa akin, kailangan ba yan? Ang sabi ng ating document is, this is required if you want to declare your file. Okay, for example, select file, this is my file, K60. May nagtatanong na ibig sabihin ng X, it's up to you. Basically, when you saw this, they use the project code here. For example, project 1, project 2, project 3, nasa sa inyo na yun. Or ABCD, walang problema doon. Okay? So, but this one, may mga naming convention lang. Kaya mag-example kayong K60, okay, may guro, nagsimula sa K100, K010, it's up to you. Okay? So, this is the file name assigned to implementer name. Okay, these are optionals. Okay, it depends on what you are using or dealing with. If you are dealing with visual files, sometimes this is required. Okay, but for sequential files, we don't need the organization, the record key, the file status, access mode sa mga sequential files. Okay, so now you are hearing from me different files, right? May tinatawag tayo na indexed file, may tinatawag tayo na mga sequential files. Okay? So, okay lang yan. Kahit hindi nyo pa siya masyadong naiintindihan. But narinig nyo na, oh, I have this sequential file. I have this index file. So basically, when we want to declare a sequential file, okay lang yung ganito. But for index file, we always put this. Kasi sometimes we have to define what organization is it. Is it index? Is it dynamic? Is it, we have different kind of organization, okay? And I have my record key, okay? Kasi I read this as index key, okay? I have to check my file status if I want because yung mga vsum files or index files na yan, may chine-check tayo ng mga status of file. Okay? How I'm going to access the file? Is it dynamic, sequential, or index? So, ganun yun. May nagtatanong ba? Na-absorb niyo po ba yung sinasabi ko? Hopefully. Any violent reaction? Need a break? Toilet? How about close? Sige. I continue. Siguro, from here, select output, right? So, select input, output. Yeah. Okay, there's some rules here. If I want to define mga user-defined words, this is the limit or some of the limitations, no? We define 1 to 30 characters, letters, digit, hyphens only, no embedded blanks. That's why when I define this, no embedded blanks, correct? Yan. At least one alphabetic character may not begin or end with hyphen, may not be a Cobol reserved word. So when I use my user-defined words, dapat hindi siya same ng mga Cobol reserved word natin. Okay. Select implementer as I discussed. When you assign a file, ganun lang yan. Organization, as I mentioned, no, this class describes the organization of records in the file. Okay. Some Cobol codes you can see from here, assign to, ini-specify nila yung specific na file. Okay? Kung saan siya nakalocate. Okay. Coding guidelines. Oh, separate divisions by a blank comment line, page eject symbol, or blank line. So, separate yung divisions natin. Code a single statement per line. Just a guide, no, if you want to do the coding. So, code paragraph names online by themselves. Be liberal in the use of comments. So, box lengthy comments using asterisk. Again, you can put as many comments as you want in the code para mas lalong maintindihan yung code. Although English na yan, but if, of course, you can put some comments anywhere in the code to specify what kind of, for example, if you want to explain this, right? So, nasa sa'yo na yan kung gusto mo maglagay ng comments. Code select, again, in your environment division, in your input-output section. So, you can code input files first, then followed by output files. Okay, although order is not required. Okay? Okay, sabi dito sa 2008 changes, coding rules for margin A and B will be recommended but not required. Okay, program ID will only be in paragraph. Will be only paragraph in identification division. All others can be specified as comments. Again, the length of the kanina na-discuss natin up to 1 to 30 characters lang yung user defined, but it could extend to 60 characters for 2008 changes. Mahaba na. Okay, so congratulations. We ended the chapter 2. Again, we discussed about identification division, how you're going to define the program name or your program ID. It's up to 8 characters, letters, digits only. It accepts letters and digits only, acceptable on all computers. Okay, program ID is only required paragraph for your identification division. And we understood also the 7th column, which is we call the asterisk as comment, slash, and dash. Okay. Now for the environment division, we have different section, which is the ano yung section natin? The file, the input-output section, the configuration section, and the input-output section. Okay. So yun yung meron tayo sa environment division. Okay, that's it. Any question about chapter 2? Okay, again, 2 minutes break for you to get water, stretch yourself, stretch yourself, get some water, and go to toilet. So 2 minutes. Thank you. Andyan na ba? Malapit-lapit na tayo matapos. Chapter 3 na. So far ba may tanong pa kayo? Mayroon ba kayong hindi naintindihan o clear? Basahin niyo yung aking pinagsasabi. Chapter 3. Okay, so all back. Andyan na ba kayo? Sino pong wala? 2 minutes. 1 minute. Okay, so after we finish the 3 and 4, later on, mag-actual na ako sa inyo ng mainframe. So, at least kahit paano meron tayong ano ngayon, actual. After the lecture. Okay? So, as to continue from chapter 3, is about data division. So, itong chapter 3 na to, focus lang siya sa data division. So, dito na papasok yung mga picture clause, data types. So data division, again, you will just be familiarized with the data division, how you're going to define the storage for your work fields and your constants, how you're going to organize the data, what are the rules for the forming data names. Okay, so in data division, you will see a file section and a working storage section. Yan yung meron dito sa data division. So again, we have division, we have sections, okay, and we have paragraph, okay, we have statements or sentences within our paragraph. So for this data division, as mentioned, we have file section, we have working storage section. What's this? Okay. Dito nyo ma-define sa file section nyo yung mga input nyo at saka yung output nyo. Okay, so I'll just skip this interactive and batch. Okay. Just to focus on this about the Cobol data organization. So nakikita nyo na yung screen ko, right? Cobol data organization. In Cobol, we have field. Okay, ito yung terms natin. Field is a group of characters forming a meaningful unit or basic fact. Characters in a name or digits is in an amount. So this is what we call field, group of characters. Now, records is a group of related fields. So you can see the connection. You see the relationship of field, records, and next is file. File is a group of related records. These are what the basic data organization in Cobol. Field is a group of characters. Record is a group of related fields. File is a group of related records. So, yun ang importante dito maintindihan ninyo. Like for example, I have a customer file made up of customer records. And customer records made up of specific fields like name, first name, last name, date of birth, what else? Address. So those are fields. So nakuha nyo na yung hierarchy ng file, records, and fields. Okay? So that is data organization in Cobol. Okay, categories of data. Data categories in Cobol, each assigned user defined. So as I mentioned, you have the file, you have the record, you have the field. So very important to kasi when you look into the Cobol codes, dapat alam mo na itong binabasa ko is record. Itong binabasa ko ay file. Itong tinitignan ko is field. So dapat yun yung maintindihan nyo in terms of data analysis in Cobol. Okay? Again, we have rules. Our data name user defined could have 1 to 30 characters, letters, digits, hyphens only. Okay? So ito lang yung pwede sa ilalagay mo ng mga user defined variable names mo. Okay? So hindi ka pwedeng maglagay ng mga asterisk, underscore, semicolon, only hyphen is allowed. No embedded blanks. At least one alphabetic character may not begin or end with hyphen and may not be a Cobol reserved word. Okay. Let's have some exercise. Sige, so tanungin natin isa-isa. John, Michael, para makapagpahinga yung boses ko. Number 1, date of birth. Identify the valid data names. Yung number 1, is it valid or invalid? Hindi kita narinig. Unmute.
Valid yung number 1.
Okay. Number 2.
4, and 5.
Ano na?
1, 3, 4, and 5.
Ang ano? Valid? Are you
Valid.
sure number 3 is valid?
Opo, sir. Opo. Sir, hinanap ko kasi para na-recall ko yung post na
Ano daw? Hello, Evelyn. Ano yun? Nawala siya. Okay. Number 1, is it valid or invalid? This is valid, okay? Because you have your uppercase, lowercase, and but basically in Cobol, lahat naman yan naka-uppercase, no? Pag nag-code ka, pansin nyo, code ko uppercase lahat yan, okay? It's just I have a hyphen, so it's valid. Number 2 is not valid because I'm using a dollar sign, which is not allowed. Section is also not valid because it's reserved word.
Reserved nga po.
Yeah, number 4 is not valid because I have a hyphen in the front. Number 5 is not valid as well because I need an alpha. Okay? Based dito, at least one alphabetic character. So you cannot define a data name like this. Timeout also is not valid because of space. So it should not have a space. Where's that? No embedded blanks, I mean. So dapat walang space. So the valid here is 1 and 1 lang. So only 1 is the valid here, okay? So that's how you define the data names. Make sure it's meaningful. Although, may makikita kayong mga Cobol codes na ang ikli lang because maybe they're limited to that number of characters. But sabi nga, di ba, as Cobol changes, so nagkakaroon na ng mga extend na length. For example, from 30 to 60. For example, if you want to define a data name that is A1, what does it mean? Hindi mo siya maiintindihan. Pero pag nilagay ko amount due in, it's okay. I can still understand. Maintindihan ko na, oh, this is amount due in. A1, maybe you need to decode. Okay? So you have to ask the former programmer, what does A1 means? Kung buhay pa yung programmer. Pero pag hindi, ikaw talaga magsasaliksik kung ano ibig sabihin ng A1. Understood? So use a meaningful data names. Okay? That describes the content of the field. Make sure it corresponds to the content of the field. Ang hirap naman, maglagay ka ng amount, hindi naman pala amount ang laman ng field mo. So you have to be very careful and you have to be meaningful in creating data names. Okay? Sometimes we are using prefixes or suffixes. Okay, like for example, dash in, dash out. Why? Because we wanted to specify, oh, this is from input field. Input file, I'm sorry. This is an input field, this is an output field. Yeah, that's why we put dash in, we put dash out. But some don't have. Okay, so kailangan mong pang intindihan kung input ba yan o output ba yan. Sometimes we use dash file or dash record to identify that this is a file, this is a record. Okay, so pwede yun. Walang problema sa ganun. You can use prefixes, you can use suffixes in order for you to understand your data names. Any question? Wala. Okay, clear ha? Clear tayo dun ha? So if you're going to create your own data names, so guidelines lang naman yan. Now, in data division, as said, we are here to define or to describe the storage for all the data. So you have two main sections, which is the file section and the working. Pag sinabi natin file section, this defines all the input, output, records, fields required for any program that uses files, typically the batch programs. Now, for working storage, we define the constants, the end of file indicators. Sabi ko rito yung mga file status. Yan, meron tayo itong mga status. Meron tayo itong end of file indicators. And then we have our working areas variables like this. So, dinidefine natin lahat ng ito sa working storage. Okay? Again, when you define on the working storage, this is not part of the input or output files. Okay? Okay, so we're talking about files. Again, files are group of related records. Okay, based sa ating kaninang definition. In Cobol, we can here, maririnig natin yung mga salitang master files, transaction files. Yeah, It's common. So, kahit naman din saan, so alam naman natin yung master file kung ano ibig sabihin, right? The main file. Transaction files daily, it can be cleared out, it can be it can be override transaction files, correct? Okay, we could have an input that is master file, we could have an input that is transaction file, and we could also have an output as a new master file, we could also have an output like report files. Okay, so dapat maintindihan natin kung ano yung type of files that we are dealing with. Okay, dapat maintindihan natin kung ano bang klaseng file ito. Okay, so for us to understand how we're going to, it's part of the requirement. So dapat alam mo kung ano yung mga kailangan mong input files at ano yung magiging output files mo. Okay, now I have this file description entry. Where is this? You can see it from file section. Okay? Pag may nakita kayo na FD, what does it mean? FD stands for file descriptor. So, mapapansin nyo sa code ko, I have FD. Okay? So, ano ibig sabihin ng FD? File descriptor. Okay? One FD for each select statement in environment division. So, itong one FD ko, this corresponds to my one file section here. Ano ang ibig sabihin nito? This file is interpreted by my file descriptor. Okay? So, we're using copybooks for us to identify the layout of the file. Nandiyan pa ba kayo? Nakaka-relate pa ba sa sinasabi ko? Again, one FD corresponds to one select on your file control. So merong merong relationship or merong kaugnayan itong select statement mo sa file control sa yung file section. Tandaan niyo na. So this one correspond to there. Pasinin mo lang naman yan. Makikita mo same lang naman yan. Ito yun. Any question? So kung ilan yung nasa select ko, let's say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many FD I should have on my file section? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sana? 6, 7, 8. Correct? Pag may nawawalang isa, magtaka ka na kapag mali yung output mo. Or mag-error yan, most likely, kasi it's doing some checking for some file descriptor that is defined which is not found on your file control. So, importante yan na maintindihan ninyo, file control equivalent to file section. Any question? So, sa mga bago, naguguluhan.
Question.
Yes.
Question po. Should it be in order?
Not necessarily.
One FD and then select doon on the if you wrote it first and then in the select section should be first also.
Not necessarily. Walang problema. But, of course, it's easy for you to debug kasi mas madali mo makita, right? Okay lang na unahin ko yung L. For example, this one, select, nasa dulo siya, di ba? Sa file section ko, nilagay ko siya rito as FDL. No problem. Walang problema. It will not give you error. So, there's no problem. As long na nandoon siya, pag wala, yun na nagiging problema. About the sequence, of course, we follow pa rin kung ano yung mas maganda, kung ano yung una, you put it first, mas madali sa'yo para ma-debug, ma-check. Diba? K60, K800, yeah, it follows this one. Pero sabi doon sa guidelines natin, unahin mo yung mga input, ilagay mo sa dulo yung mga output. So, yun yung guidelines. Okay? So, just to make clear lang yung coding mo is maganda. Mas madali siyang maintindihan. Diba? Thank you. Sino nagtanong? Hindi ko nakilala. Si Dayon ba yun?
Dayon po.
Okay, very good. So, clear tayo dito sa 1FD. for each select statement in the environment division. Okay, clear ya? So FD is followed by file name. Again, this is user-defined. Nasa sa'yo yan. Optional clauses to describe the file in the format of its record. So this is optional, but this is for you to describe what is this file means. So for FDs, mas maganda, and some are also requiring as well, that for this file, I have a record that contains 25 characters. So ano ibig sabihin nun? Madali ko maintindihan na, ang file ko na ito, for each record is 25 characters length. Nakuha nyo? So that's how we read the file. So ang bawat record pala ng meron dito sa file ko na K60 is 25 characters length. Clear? Ngayon, para maintindihan ko kung ano yung 25 characters, I need a layout. And how? Using my copybook. Although you cannot see what is this mean, copy XXX K60. Anyone knows? Don't know, right? Okay, I give you example. What is inside? Like this. Ito yung example. Ito naman yung example na dito dinidefine ko na kung ano yung layout ng file. For example, F200F, this is 300 characters. Okay? And this is the layout of my file record. Okay? So I have a date allocation, ng flat type, book appointment date, etc. If you total this, how many? Hindi lang siya within 300, but this is just saying that within my 300 characters length, this is what I can find in the file, in the record. Okay? Siguro yung later part na yan is pure spaces na. I only just define up to this. Okay? So some are using another file. Eventually, maintindihan niyo yung sinasabi ko na copybook. Copybook means the layout. Copybook is the layout of this. We're using a copy statement. Okay, we call this a copybook name. Okay, this is the layout of this file, like this one. Okay, why we need a copybook? Okay, because this is to understand the layout of your record. Okay, that's the importance of the copybook. But in database, okay, database also have copybooks. So kung maintindihan nyo, it is the columns or the fields in the table, correct? Now it's the same thing. Kaya lang tayo kasi we're dealing with files. We need to understand the each fields on the record. So nagets nyo na. So hopefully naiintindihan yung sinasabi ko. As I mentioned, kailangan nyo maintindihan kung ano ang file, ano ang record, at ano ang fields. In this scenario, this is the file, this is the record, and these are the fields. Simple as that. Okay? Clear? Any question? So hopefully, ito is just so basic, no? At least maintindihan nyo na kung saan level ako titingin. This is my file, this is the record, and this is my fields. So that's all about data organization. Okay? So wala namang pagtanong. Ayan, so as I mentioned, this is your file description format. Follow the rules. What does brace and curly braces means, bracket means, etc. I will not go into this. So if you have some questions, just let me know. Again, na-discuss ko na how you're going to define the record. Each FD followed by a record description. Okay, these are some of the record description. Okay, and then data is grouped in Cobol by levels. Again, this is what we call the leveling of the Cobol. Record name defines on the level 1. Always remember that record name is defined on the level 1, considered as the highest level of data. The fields within a record defines at subordinate level with level numbers from 0 to 49. So I can use any leveling I want. I can use 0, 5, 10. It's up to me. It's up to the one who's creating the Cobol codes. No limit. So, but as long na hindi ka pwedeng maglagay ng, for example, I have 0, 3, tapos susunod na ilalagay ko ay 0, 5, 0, 2. This is wrong. Okay? Filler. I put some filler here. Okay? 5. So this is wrong kasi Why? Because 03 na ngayon nilagay ko doon. I should put some that is lower than the 3, which is 10 or 5. Okay, this one will be okay. No problem. Kasi 01 is the highest level, followed by 03. Dapat this is more than 3. Any question about the leveling? Importante ang leveling. So makikita nyo yan sa codes. Yung mga Cobol codes, may makikita kayong ganyan. May 01, 03, 05, etc. So, no questions. Galing ko na ha. Okay, again, remember when you define the data, consider the leveling of your fields, okay, in your records. And next, this is an example na nasabi ko na yan. Okay, so select FD 01 and the fields as I mentioned. Okay. Okay, now let's move on to this elementary and group items. Oh, we have this term, okay? Now you hear from this, there's an elementary and group item. Elementary item are what we call field that is not further subdivided. Look into this, okay? This date allocation is what we call elementary item because it's not further subdivided. This includes a picture clause, okay? While the group item is a field that is further subdivided. And one example of the group item is this. X200F-rec. This is one of an example of a group item. Why? Because it is still subdivided. But if it's not subdivided, so this will become an elementary item. I'll show you some ng mga nasa subdivide pa. Okay, this one is an example. Can you see from here the temp date? First type. Working story section, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Okay, this one is a good example. I have here a WS template. I consider as group item because this is further subdivided. Okay. Now, WS date is an elementary item because not further subdivided. But WS date FMTD or formatted is what? A group item. Okay, because it's still further subdivided to CCYY, MM, and DD. But for CCYY, MM, DD, I can call this as an elementary item because not further subdivided. Clear? Okay, so that's how we name it, how we call it. Okay, when you are having some items, we call it elementary, we call it group. Okay, yun lang naman yun. Yeah, nasabi ko na yun kanina, elementary and group. Okay, this is an invalid. As I mentioned, no, you cannot put on the same level the 10 and 12. Okay? So, although this is correct, if you put 12, pwede naman yan, tama yan. Kaya lang, wag mong i-anticipate na same level ang last name at saka first name sa kwentong ito. Correct? So it's up to you how you do the leveling. So make sure na in accordance lang din yung leveling mo. Okay? So for example, first name and last name, if you think they are the same level, put in the same level. Di ba? Kung gusto mo pang i-subdivide ang first name into name, kasi ngayon marami ng first name, right? Yung first name natin nasa subdivide na into 3 names eh. Sino kaya ang example? John Michael Vincent. Oh, yung name niya, yung first name niya, 3 na. So magkakaroon na siya ng first name 1, first name 2, first name 3 subdivided. That's an example of leveling. Okay? So be careful lang there or be mindful about this leveling. So importante yan. Again, we discussed about picture clause. Picture clause specify the type and the size. Tandaan nyo yan ha, type and size. Ito yung tanong sa akin ni John Eric kanina. How many types of data fields? We have alphabetic, which is only letters and blanks or blanks. We have alphanumeric, which is any character that is letters, digits, special characters. Example, yung address natin. Okay? And we have numeric, which is only digits for fields used in arithmetic operations. Be careful kasi sometimes when we define a data, okay, we define as alphanumeric pero ginagamit natin siya for computations. That's one of the main problem when you are doing the code. So you have to very careful when you are defining data, dapat alam mo na, ano to, alphabetic lang to. It only accepts letters. This one can accept numeric, can accept alphabet, can alphabet special characters. That's why I define as alphanumeric. Okay? You have to be mindful about that. Hindi yung basta puro alphanumeric na lang lahat. Okay? Or let's say, baka nagkamali ka na, gagamitin pala siya for arithmetic operations. So you should use a numeric field. Okay? So A for alphabetic, sorry. Ito yung tanong kanina ni Michael, John Michael. So A is for alphabetic, X for alphanumeric, and 9 for numeric. Okay? To be safe, yung iba talaga, hindi na sila nagde-define ng A kasi anyhow, they can accept numbers, they can accept special characters. That's why they define X. Kaya mostly nakikita na lang natin is X. 9. Okay? Again, for the size, you denote it by the numbers of A's or X or 9s in your picture clause. Okay? So, for example, I want to define a customer ID that has 4 characters. I can define like picture XXXX. Amount, for example, I want to define as 5 bytes or 5 numeric. I have to put 99999. Okay? But, of course, you can do it like this as well. Okay? So, mas madali sa yung mabilang kung ilan ang character na meron ang aking customer ID, ilang character or ilang bytes meron ang aking amount. It's easy, right? So you can denote by the numbers of the A, X, or 9s. Okay? What else? Again, this is my example kanina. When you implied a decimal point, you put a V here. Okay? For fields used in arithmetic operations, symbol V is used as a picture clause to denote location of the implied decimal point. Decimal point itself not stored as part of a number. Clear on this, ha? Hindi yan na-i-store as point. Okay? To store value 26.79 in field amount in code entry as this one, pick amount in pick 99V99. The program itself will understand, okay, that I have a decimal point. I have an implied decimal point. So when I use arithmetic operations, the last 2 bytes will be considered as decimal. Understood? So you have to be very mindful kapag ginamit mo siya for computation, make sure na yung output mo meron ding decimal. Kasi pag wala yung decimal, whole numbers lahat ng output mo. You are cutting off the decimal places. Clear? So be careful about this computation. So ito lang din yung mga medyo challenging dito sa Cobol codes, right? Kapag may mga computation tayo ng mga may decimal places. Any question about implied decimal point?
Sir, pag tatlong decimal place, D999,
Pwede.
ganun siya.
It's up to your program. Kaya minsan nag-a-accept sila ng hundreds, decimals, tens, okay, or ones. It's up to the program itself. So, ibig sabihin, nalilimit lang doon. Nakakat na yun. For example, if you use it for computation, whatever the result is, hanggang 3 decimal places lang ang kaya niyang i-cater, parang gano'n. Okay, so that's all about implied decimal. Now, for the variable and constant. So we know what is variable. It can vary. It can change. Constant is constant, default, or whatever. So it's up to us how we're going to define the variable and the constant. Okay? Now, for the variable data, example, ito mga variable data tong mga to. It can vary, right? This is an example of having both. Variable siya, at the same time may constant value siya. But this one is an example of a constant data. Okay? Hanap tayo ng iba na may constant. Okay, so madali nyo nang maintindihan to. May question po ba sa variable? Based on this Cobol program sample, it was a variable data. At the same time, it has initial value of spaces, of an n, of zeros. Okay? This is initial value. Okay? Pag pinag-usapan natin. But it can vary kasi mga ano siya. I mean, this has been used to change in the program itself. That is variables. Constant, okay, alam niyo na yan. Normally, ginagamit siya sa mga error messages, etc. Or sa mga constants. Like for example, for some, like this one. WS max lines, pick 9 to value 50. This is constant data, okay? Although, these WS max lines in the code maybe can change as well. I'll just find Control C, Control F, Control V. Okay, so hindi ko na siya makita sa code sa app kasi naka-up down. Check ko lang ako saan ginamit itong WS max lines. Okay, so ginagamit siya sa program for conditions. Nakita niyo yung aking program? If WS line counter is greater than WS max lines, I do this. Else, continue. This is an example of constant variable na may value siya sa hindi na siya mababago. Correct. So, hindi na siya nababago. Up. So, my max lines is 50. Okay? So, how are you going to use the data constantly or variable is up to you. Nasa sa inyo yan. So, for example, this one is a constant data. WS max lines is 50 lines. If I see it from my program, saan siya ginamit? Just to check how many lines na ba yung aking counter. Like that. Any question? Again, even I put max lines here as a constant, I can still make it a variable na it can be a what do you call it? Variable din siya. Nasa sa iyo yun. Kung minove, if within the program I move something to 10, no-overwrite niya yung initial value mo. Okay? So, nasa sa inyo. Pag na-touch niyo yung variable na yan, mawawala na yung kanyang pagiging constant. If I move something value to this variable. Okay, that's all. Constant. Type of constants. It could be a numeric. Okay, katulad nito, numeric yon. It could be a non-numeric. Like for example, these are non-numeric, literal. And it could be a figurative constants, which is spaces, zeros. So yung nakikita niyo sa taas, they're what we call figurative. Yeah, this one is zeros, right? Zeros is figurative. This is non-numeric because enclosed with single quote. Kapag numeric yan, katulad nung kanina, yung max line ko, C is the max line. Where's my max line? Up. Down. Okay, like max line, this is numeric. So, ganun ang pagde-define ng ng mga constant. So, kapag wala siyang quote, numeric 'yon. Kapag may single quote, non-numeric. Pag figurative, you can use spaces, you can use zeros. Okay? These are reserved word for commonly used values. Any question about types of constant? Clear? So, ganun ang paglalagay ng value. Again, rules. We have rules for numeric up to 18 digits lang. Okay? Plus or negative sign may be included to the left of the first digit. Okay? So, pwede rin nyo siyang i-define as signed variable. Walang problema doon. Decimal point permitted within literal may not follow last digit. Okay? So, ito yung mga valid na numeric literals nyo na pwedeng i-define. Like 23, mayroon kayong signed. And then with decimal places and with the negative sign. So these are valid. Okay? For non-numeric, you have to enclose with quotation mark, as I said. Again, you can define up to 160 characters, including space. Any character in Cobol character set except quotation mark. Meron kasi iba sabi, gusto nila magkaroon ng dash sa kanilang tag dito? non-numeric, whatever it is, kung gagawin mo man siyang constant, or if you want to move somewhere in your codes, nilalagay natin yung double, magiging dalawang dash siya sa loob ng isang quote. Parang ganon. Meron yan. Pwede namang ipasok yung apostrophe na tinatawag. Okay? So, just to be mindful, kasi let's say for example, within the code, I dineclare mo siya as numeric. Like for example, this one, numeric, right? Tapos sa code mo, nag-move ka ng non-numeric. It's an error. Okay? Magbibigay yan sa'yo ng error. Okay? So, be mindful kung ano yung definition ng data type ng bawat field nyo. Okay? Yun lang tayo. If it's amount, then you just have to move amount. If it's numbers, numeric, alphanumeric, dapat alam nyo yun. Okay? So, as I mentioned, you can use figurative constants, 0, space, and that's all. Okay? Working storage section naman, halos na-discuss ko na rin yan. It follows the file section. Okay? So, siguro may magtatanong, pwede bang mauna ang working storage section sa file section? Hindi ko pa naman natatry, pero you can try. Okay? So, it follows the working storage sections. Again, this is beginning in area A, I'm sorry. It begins in area A. Okay? So, yung mga division names, section names, paragraph names, always begin in area A. Ends with a period. Okay? Again, here you have your elementary items, you have your group items. So, yun yung ating meron din sa working storage. Okay, what is the use of working storage? Basically, for our working variables natin yan sa code natin. It defines the keyed input or displayed output, the intermediate arithmetic results, counters, totals, end of file indicators. Good thing about when you do the coding of the Cobol, gawan mo siya ng grouping. For example, hindi kalat-kalat. I want to group all the file status. Pwede yun. I have to put in one group item. I have to put my counter in one group item. Easy for you kasi para madali mo ma-check yung code mo. Dito yan. Meron kasing iba na, sige, sa dulo na lang, lahat 0-1 level and the rest is elementary item na. Okay, so maganda to. Assist kahit paano yung sample program na pinapakita ko sa inyo is what you call it, medyo formatted, tsaka structured siya in a sense na madali mo siyang makita. Correct? Lahat ng date, nasa isang date, lang siya, isang date group item. Okay? But for example, ito, pwede rin naman ako ganyan lang, 01 WH, puro lahat 01 level, di ba? So, siguro wala siyang mapaglalagyan na group. So, pwede rin yan. Nasa sa inyo na. Like this one, nasa 0-1 level sila. Hindi na siya na-subdivide. Okay? Value, alam niyo na yung value. Okay, this one is the one that I mentioned. You can put an initial value for each data type, data field. Okay? The value clause. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo. To define initial value for field, you use value clause. If omitted, field's value and undefined when program begins execution. So, meron ba tayong mga sample dito na walang value? So, sabi dito undefined yon. So, ibig sabihin, wala siyang laman. It may be used only in the working storage section. Dito lang siya magagamit. So, working storage section yung mga value. Here, you cannot use it. In your file section, hindi siya pwedeng gamitin yan. Sa working storage mo lang siya magagamit. Pero minsan may nakikita rin naman ako na meron. Baka yung presentation natin is hindi pa updated. Okay, so I think so. It can also be used in your file section with your copybook. Okay, ito na yung value versus move. Yung value clause natin, initially, pwede siyang ma-override. Okay, within your procedure division. For example, value clause used in data division gives initial value before execution begins. So when my procedure division execute, so using the move statement, assigns value to field after program begins. So ibig sabihin, the move statement may change the initial value of your field. Okay? Let's have an example. Control F move. Which is, mamaya itatry ko yan sa ano natin. May gagawin tayo. Move this one. Fine. I need a value that is movable. Function current date. Okay. This one. Nakikita niyo yung aking code. Move first to L10T heading to quarter. Okay. Let's see this one. Kung may initial value sa taas. Okay. Initially, in my data division, in my working storage section, my L10T heading to quarter is spaces. Correct? That's my initial value. But within my code, down, pag na-execute nyo na tong statement na to, ito na yung magiging value niya. Gets? So, napapalitan. Okay? As long as I am doing something move statement for that particular data field, it will be overwritten. Whatever the last executed statement, yun yung mangyayari. Okay? So, kung hindi dito, ginawa ko siyang first, and then if I do something, for example, ito na, naging second na siya, most likely ginamit niya pa rin yung same variable for that, so it will be overwritten. So, whatever the last executed statement will be the last, that's the latest value of your variable. Any question? Wala. So, clear naman, no? So, pag walang tanong, ako magtatanong. So, that's it. So, very simple lang ang Cobol. Move lang. Value. Whatever the value. So, it's very easy to understand, right? English na English. Okay, next. Yeah, as I mentioned, this could have, the value could have your literal or figurative constant. And always remember, data type must match your picture. Okay? So, kung, for example, ito, I have peak V99. So, the value should be 0.06. Okay? WS total will be peak 99, so value 0. Pwede yun. Walang problema doon. Okay? For ano to? Ayan, for your character X alphanumeric. So kapag 3 bytes 'yon, dapat 3 lang yung laman ng value mo. Okay? Else, kunyari, nakalagay dyan 3 tapos nilagay mo mahaba, so it will be cut into 3. Okay? So mako-concat lang naman 'yon. Ito na yung sinabi ko kanina, how you're going to define your mga constant nyo. Okay? I'll give you different methods here. Okay? The tax rate literally is 0.28 or 28%. Okay? Method 1, as you can see, I code as literal in my procedure division. Okay? Literally, ginamit ko na directly yung 0.28 na yan. Okay? So, I can do that. Pwede naman yan gawin ko sa code ko. Directly, I use the literal, the exact literal amount or something, tax rate. Okay? Multiply 0.28 by WS salary giving WS tax. This is good. This is also, what you call it, pagde-define ng constants. Okay? Or I can store in a data item in my working storage like WS rate, peak V99 value, 0.28. Nakuha? So it's up to you what kind of method you want when you do the coding. Then ginamit ko yung WS rate for this. Multiply WS rate by WS salary giving WS tax. So, ganun siya flexible din kahit papaano. I can use directly the constants, okay, or the literals. Okay, or I can use a variable for that to cater for my constants or literals. Any question? So, kung wala na, okay, continuation of literals. So, ito yung sinabi ko kanina, non-numeric literals, yung mga characters na more than 160, or more than 80, hindi yan magkakasya sa isang line of code kasi sabi ko, you can only have to use from 12 to 72, right? So long literals may not fit in one type line. So subdividing long literals into separate fields is recommended. That's why marami siyang ways. Actually, pwede mong gawing ganito. For example, transaction report for XYZ Corporation. Okay? Okay? So, pwede ko siyang, kunyari hindi siya magkasya at gusto ko siyang gawin as a report title, I will do this. Report title, under this group item, I have elementary item, pick X18 and pick X20. Dapat lang, alam mo yung count. Magbilang ka. Ilang characters ba tong transaction report? Magbilang tayo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Within this characters, this is my 18. Kulang siya ng open parenthesis. Yan. And then value, this is space kasama sa count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, baka 20 nga siya. 20. Okay? So, this, I can do this. Pwede to. Pwede kong gawin yan. Any question? Okay. So, this is just for the long literals, no? May be continued from one line for next, although this is not recommended. So rules for continuation of literals from one line to next. Begin literal with quotation mark. Continue literal to position 72. Do not end with quotation mark. Yun yung sabi ko kanina. Yun yung tinatry natin, di ba? We place a hyphen on next line in position 7 to continue the literal with quotation mark starting anywhere in area B and literal with a quotation mark. So yan yung ating continuation of literals. Wala. So pag mahaba yung ating literals, you go to the next line, put a hyphen on your 7th position, continue the literal with quotation mark starting anywhere in area B, and end literal with quotation mark. Sabi ito, do not end with quotation mark on your first line. Okay? So kung hindi mo na magagawa ito yung una, which is you have to count how many characters you want. Okay? So pwede mong gawin yung second approach. Okay? So that's, I think, for chapter 3. Okay, we still have 30 minutes. So anong natapos natin? I need to show you the mainframe eh. Okay, natapos tayo sa data division. Okay, I think it's enough. Somehow kasi yung procedure division naman na natatakal ko na, right? Okay? So, if you have no question for chapter 1, 2, and 3, I will proceed on how you're going to use the Mainframe Express. Okay? So, mabilis lang to. So, nakikita niyo yung screen ko, yung lighthouse. Magsalita naman kayo, kausapin niyo naman ako.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
from here, I will show you how I'm going to open the Mainframe Express. Okay, as I said, nag-open ako, I can only use Mainframe Express using a VirtualBox. So, nag-install ako ng VirtualBox here. So good to, para makita nyo kung paano tayo gagamit. So, I already installed my VirtualBox. I just click this VirtualBox. So, yan ang kailangan nyo. Because I'm Windows 2000, so hindi ko na ma-install dito yung Mainframe Express. So I have to install it in Windows XP, as I mentioned. And I will be using VirtualBox for that. So habang naglo-load ba? Nag-click ba? Ayan. So you will see this Oracle VM VirtualBox Manager. Okay? Since na-setup ko na yung Windows XP, I call it Windows XP 101. Okay, I just click whatever operating system, you can do it in your VirtualBox, right? Pwede kayo mag-install pa ng ibang Windows OS dyan. So I just click the start button. bumili ka ng mabilis-bilis na laptop. O, kailangan ko itong mark ipa-upgrade sa'yo. Okay, so now, you can see, no, load na yung aking Windows XP.
RAM.
I just click this X. Napapagod na yung aking desktop. Ayan, so nakikita nyo, naglo-load na yung XP. Oh, na-miss nyo ba yung ganong tunog? May ganun din ba sa Windows 2000? Wala. So yan, so Windows XP na siya, correct? Na-install ko na rin dito yung Mainframe Express. I just go to the start and then, yun. Naglagay lang ako ng shortcut ko sa start button, although I can find it in my programs, like, where's that? This one, microfocus. Pagkakaroon kayo ng ganitong folder sa, Windows nyo. Yan, may Mainframe Express yan. I-click nyo lang itong Mainframe Express. But since I already created a shortcut here, okay, click ko na to ha. Okay. Based on the guidelines, sabi ko sa inyo, it is a trial for 30 days. Pero nakalagay na dun sa guidelines nyo na pwede nyo siyang gawing, for life, unlimited. Okay, meron lang kayong ika-crack dun. Okay, just follow that procedure para maging alam. You have how many days left? I have 2 million days left to use my Mainframe Express. Okay, pag to ibig sabihin, na-crack nyo na yung trial version nyo. Then this is my microfocus, Mainframe Express 2.5. That's why I cannot, if you can, okay, find a version that can install in Windows XP, Windows 7 or Windows 2000, then that's fine. Kaya lang yung version ko na microfocus Mainframe Express can only run in XP. So please bear with me or please try to find kung may makikita kayo. Walang problema doon. So for newcomers or for new ones na hindi pa nakikita itong Mainframe Express, this is how it looks like. Okay? But again, this is just for training purposes. In reality, in Mainframe, hindi ganito. Kasi you will be using a different environment, a ZOS environment. Okay? So nakakakita ng mga mainframe talaga. So, but this is a good thing kasi wala tayong pambili ng mainframe eh. So, through this session, you will know how to code a Cobol code using the Mainframe Express. Okay? So, sinong nang nakagamit ng Mainframe Express sa nandito? Sa mga kala Dion, kala Miss Evelyn, na-try niyo na po bang gamitin ito? Di ba?
No, sir.
Okay.
Hindi pa, sir. Hindi pa.
Ito yung binayaran ko na 50,000 pesos when I enrolled. Hindi pala ako nagbayad. I'm sorry. Just to correct that. So my company who hired me last 2008 enrolled me in Makati school somewhere in Makati just to learn about this Cobol. Okay? Way back 2008. And we're using this. So nakatulong siya actually. So kayo, yan, it's for you, it's your benefit na maintindihan na meron palang ganito. Kasi mahirap kumonek sa real mainframe. Although there's some simulator na, which is we did last time as well, na in reality na black and green screen yun, simulator. But you have to, may babayaran ka for you to do the real simulation sa mainframe talaga. Okay? So just this is the what we call it, the tools that we're going to use for you to learn Cobol. Okay? So pag naka-open na yan, so I'll just start with creating a project. File, new. I'll start with a project. This is as new, no? ICPEP. So this is my project name. Next. Just click next, and next, and next. And next, and next. Masyadong problema rito. Don't worry, I already sent this to you, okay, in your emails. How to use mainframe. So this is just an actual, okay? Actual na to na ipinapakita ko sa inyo. Kung hindi nyo man masyadong masubaybayan, you can go back to that documentation. Okay? So this is my project, ICPEP. Okay? So, from here, tuturuan ko kayo ng how you're going to create your own first Cobol code. File, go to New. We're going to click the source file, open. Okay, pansinin nyo, yan. Blankong-blanko, right? Okay. Sabi ko sa inyo, importante meron tayong identification, division. Yan I'm writing from the scratch. Anong susunod sa identification division? Nakalimutan na nila. Environment division. Next, data division. Last is procedure division. Okay? Yan lang. I'll just save it first. File, save. I will save it inside my project's ICPEP. Nakaka-small na siya. I just name it as, what is the file name? Maybe I put hello. Hello world. Alam na natin to. Be mindful about what type is this. So this type is as a Cobol. So Cobol lang din yung select nyo. Save. You can see it. I can find it here. MF user, project user, hello Cobol. Pansinin nyo, hindi ko pa siya nakikita sa loob ng project. Okay? Sinave ko siya. Pero kailangan ko siyang ilagay sa loob ng project ko. How? Right click, add file to the project. Once I add the file to the project, mapapansin niyo yung project view ko, nandun na siya sa loob ng source. Nakuha. If I close this, sa loob ng project view ko, okay, automatically malalagay siya sa Cobol source ko. This is the one. I open it again. Ito yung tinype ko kanina, right? Okay, so this is how we're going to start. So, pansinin nyo, hindi ako nag-start sa first column. I don't know if there's a column here. Baka makita nyo, may ruler din yan minsan eh. View. Sige, automatic naman na yan. Nasa 8 na yon. Okay, again, as a quick review, no? Anong meron sa identification division? Program-ID. Period. Huwag kalimutan. Okay, the program name is hello. I just follow what is my program ID, okay? Author, I just put my name, okay? Sabi ko, gusto ko maglagay ng comment. I put here on the 7th column, I will put a blank, I put an asterisk box. This is sample program, okay? So, pwedeng ganyan. Pwede kayong maglagay ng objective. Display. Nakikita nyo naman na yung tinatype ko? Okay, good. So, this is very simple lang. Gagawa tayo ng sample code. This is just to display hello world. Okay? So, can I do like this? Wala muna akong data division. Wala muna akong environment division. I have only procedure division. Okay, let's try. I have my own main paragraph. Main. Ganito ako mag-code, pwede nyo rin gawin. So, lagi nyo lang sabi ko to be structured, no? Lagyan nyo siya ng paragraph name, ano yung end ko ng paragraph. Yeah. Okay, simple lang to. I just want to, pansinin nyo kung nasa na kayo, di ba? This is 8, 9, 10, 11. Ay, somewhere makikita yun eh. Baka natakpan nyo. Yun, nakikita nyo to sa baba. Line 16, column 12. Yan. Yun yung makikita sa baba. So, mapapansin niyo kung nasa ang area ko. So, my paragraph name is still in area A, which is 1, 2, 3. This is until, yeah, pasok pa rin yan. Anyway, I will show you later. Statements where? Saan ako mag-start? 12, right? Okay, display hello world. Okay. Tapos na. Okay, I just give you some error kapag nag-compile ako. Okay, so during this, save ko lang. Simpleng-simple lang tong code ko. I want to display hello world. Okay? So, kailangan ko ng compiler. But for this Mainframe Express, meron na tayong compiler dito. Pansinin niyo tong compile, hello world, hello, something. So, i-compile ko tong hello program ko, compile. I put some error here. Wala akong period dito. So, hopefully, it will give me an error, right? And this one also. As I compile, tada, okay, i-close ko na muna kayo. Can you see from the bottom, build finish with 2 errors? Nakita nyo?
Yes.
Okay, so, what is noticed on this error? So, sabi ko nga sa inyo, mag-i-error yan pag walang period. I put period on the main. Just to understand, I need to put a period. I compile again. Oops. Okay, may isa pa. Normally, if you click here, actually makikita nyo naman yung X doon, di ba? What is wrong about this? Tama naman ah. Most likely the error is before that line. This one. Display hello world. Wala akong period. Okay? So my sentences is not complete to put a period. So I just compile again. Yeah, you can see build finish with no errors. Nakuha nyo? So, ibig sabihin, na-compile ko na yung program ko, kailangan ko na siyang i-run. Okay? So, I need a JCL for me to run this program. Okay? So, ipapasadahan ko na rin yun ngayon, today. So, i-minimize ko lang yung aking code. Okay. So, this is my Cobol program. Okay. Now, I will be creating a new, so na-compile ko na siya, right? 0 siya, ibig sabihin successful. I just close. Now for me to run that program, I need a JCL to run. Okay, so what is JCL? It's a job control language. I have here a sample of JCL. Ito na siguro. I have it from where I kept it from other program. A file, I'll just open. I have created a JCL before in Project 101. Okay, I put this one JCL. I just open it, right? This is from a different project folder. Para makita nyo rin kung paano kayo mag-navigate sa iba't ibang project folder, ha? So, this is from a different project folder. This is my JCL for me to run the hello. I just copy this. Oh, pwede ang copy paste. Walang problema. Pwede ko bang i-save as? So, let's do the copy paste first. Control C. Nasa loob ako ng ano ha. Lakihan ko na lang ulit. Control C. I just create a new one. New source file. Okay. And then Control V. Okay. Pansinin nyo, when I copy paste, na-move doon sa very first column ang GCL. Because GCL is not ruled by Cobol statements. Okay. So you can start from the very first column. Okay, so I'll just save this. Save. Okay, I will go to my own project folder. Okay, now this time I save as type as JCL. Okay, I name it as parang di mali ito, JCL2 or JCL hello. Okay, this is a JCL hello. Save. Okay. So, i-close ko na yung kinapi ko ha. So, you can see from here, hindi pa siya kasama sa loob ng folder ko ng project. So, for me again, to put it in my project, right-click, add file to project. So, makikita nyo dito, meron na akong automatic, on my source, I can found a folder that is JCL. Click. Click nyo lang yan. Ayan. So, I close this ha, para malaman nyo na na-add siya. Ayun. So for you to check that this is a JCL, click mo lang yan, ito na siya, right? Okay. This is my JCL hello.jcl. This is how I write the program, the code for JCL. You don't need to understand first everything. So follow nyo lang yan. Ang importante sa inyo, ito, execute program. Okay? I will execute the hello program, which is I have it in my Cobol. This one, right? Gusto ko siyang i-execute using this GCL. So same thing, GCL ay kino-compile din siya, or you want to check if there's an error. So click natin. So wala naman siyang, ay may error siya, compilation with error. Maybe because of this last line, I will remove the last line. Save. Bye. Ayan, no more error. This, bawal sa kanya ang mayroong excess na line. So from here, right, nakita nyo na compile, kinompile ko yung JCL. Okay? For me to run this JCL, I have to click the run. This one, yung tao, F5. If I click the run, okay, this is the thing. You have to see what JCL you want to run. Okay? I want to run this JCL hello. Just click OK. Kapag mali yung ano mo, job name mo, or for example, hindi mo makita yung job name mo, you have to search from here, and then you have to run. Okay? So I will run this JCL hello. Just click OK. So, na-run ba yun? Walang nagpa-prompt na na-run. No? One thing you can do is to check your spool. Okay, this is my project, right? Dito mo makikita sa project mo, meron siyang files, workgroup, catalog, spool. Isa-isayin natin yon. Okay? But now, you can see the log from the spool. Okay? From my GCL I run, you can see from here, hello. Okay, ano yung pinaka parang ginagawa lang ng program ko? Display, right? Pansinin nyo, mayroong na-display na hello world. Correct? Nagets nyo? Nandiyan pa ba kayo? Okay, this time I will modify the program. Magdadagdag ako ng code. I close this. Where am I? Go to the files. Click mo yung Cobol code. Okay, this time magdadagdag ako ng isa pang statement. Display. Ito lang muna. Display. This is my first Cobol program. Pakadali lang. I save it. Make sure you save. And then you compile again. Huwag yung kakalimutan yung compilation. Then, close ko lang. Go back to my JCL. Click ko lang yung JCL na yon. I already compiled this. No error naman na. So, I just run. Click the run. Okay. So, I run it again, right? Now, this is my second run. I go back to my spool. See, may makikita kayo dyan na na-run uli yung aking program na hello. At this timing, but 1 o'clock. I double-click this spool. Pasinin nyo, nandun na yung this is my first Cobol program. Correct? Hello?
Correct.
Yes, this is a very simple Cobol program. Hindi pa ako gumagamit ng data. Okay? Ngayon, I'll try to create some data. Okay, I close again. Everything I close para clear sa inyo. Even the output, this is the one. Okay? So, na-close ko yung project.
Sir, excuse.
Yes.
Sorry, sir. Hindi ko lang naintindihan yung sa JCL. What's the purpose of JCL?
JCL is, JCL is a job control language. Normally, we use JCL to run your Cobol code. Yun lang naman. You can run, we use JCL to run the Cobol codes. Hindi ko pa in-explain into details what is inside the JCL. Wala pa sa scope nyo yun eh. So, although I can discuss it maybe next week para maintindihan nyo paano ginagawa ng mga JCL. Okay? So, ito ko lang to. So, pwede
Cobol program.
Yes.
Hindi pwede
you need a JCL to run the Cobol program.
Only special.
Yes, correct. So, nasagot ko ba tanong mo, Evelyn? But the details of JCL, how to going to create the JCL, although I put it in the scope, I can discuss it next week kasi it's almost 10 minutes before 5 before we end the session. Okay? So, at least nakikita nyo na ngayon kung paano nyo gagamitin yung Mainframe Express. Okay? So again, buksan ko yung aking project. Did I open it? Or naka-open ba yung project ko? No, not yet lang. Open. Automatic na siguro. I go with my... Saan ako? Ano bang pinost ko? Hindi ako nag-open project. Okay, open the project. ICPEP, open. Okay, yan. Pinost ko yung project overview pala. Expand ko na nga para hindi ko nakiklik yung X. Again, go to my files. This is my files in my project, right? Gagawin ko lang yung mga ibang natutunan natin. Ako talaga yung gumawa ng natutunan natin. Okay, this is my Cobol code. This time I have to define some data. I cannot edit. Bakit? Naka-stuck. Insert. Baka napindot ko insert. Yan. What we discussed is data division, right? So, pansinin nyo, no, kahit hindi ko nilalagay yung ibang section, it's still okay. So, I just put working, storage, section. Right? We put here WS working, or let's say, why we put some WS in as a prefix? Kasi para mas madali kong maintindihan na galing siya sa working storage. Okay? Just naming convention. So 05, let's say I want to put here WS message. Peak X, let's say 20. 30, gawin na natin 30. Value, spaces. Or let's say maglagay tayo ng value. Hello world. Just to give you idea kung anong gamit nitong message nito. Okay, I display hello world, correct? This is my first Cobol program. Now, let's move one thing. Display WS message. Next, move. I want to see you next time. To WS message. Display WS message. What are you expecting from this? I have my first line hello world. This is my first Cobol program. It will display as third line my hello world again. 2. Lagyan natin ng description na 2. Para alam natin na mayroong kaibahan yung hello world. Okay? And then I move something value to my WS message. See you next time. Then I display again that message. I just save. Control S. Compile. To see kung may error ka. So wala naman tayong error. Very good. So simple lang to ha. So I have my Cobol. Then I will open my JCL. Open. This is my JCL. You can see from here naman makikita mo sa tabs mo. If I click here, this is my Cobol code. If I click here, this is my JCL. As I mentioned, this is for you to run your Cobol code. Okay? Pag ito nilagay ko hello 1, malamang mag-i-error ako. Wala siyang makikitang program na hello 1. I try to compile. Wala siya sa error ko, pero pag niran ko siya, magkakaproblema. I-run natin. Nasaan na yung ating spool? Nag-run na siya, right? Spool. Pansin nyo, wala yung step. Kasi, ayan, makikita nyo naman sa log. Hello 1 ang ginamit kong program. So, what is happening? Abandoned. Because, most likely the file, ito na yun, sinasabi naman niya, program not found. So this is how you're going to read the error. Clear? Any question? Klaro ba sa inyo? Mabilis? So I have to correct my JCL, okay? Because this one is program not found. So obviously naman, wala akong hello 1. I close my... Close. Ano ba yung mako-close ko rito? May mali yung mako-close ko. Close. Okay. So, go back to my JCL. Ayusin ko lang siya. It's hello W. That's my program. I have to compile again. Kasi iba yung dati ko na compile. Now this time, I want to run the hello Cobol, which is I made modification to move something value to a variable. Correct? Run. Okay, most likely it runs. Wala siyang notification. Pasinin niyo no, sa aking logs. So this is my last log. So ano nakita niyo sa output? Hello world, this is my first Cobol program, and hello world 2 as defined as value on my variable. And then I move see you next time, which is correct because I move see you next time on the AWS message, display message. Any question? As simple as that. So wala pa akong tinatouch na file, wala pa akong ginagamit na input file, wala pa akong ginagamit na output file, which is most likely by next week, we will be trying to have that kind of actual for our input-output. So wala pa rin tayong calculation dito, wala pa tayong masyadong paragraph, correct? So isang paragraph pa lang yan. If I want to move to a different paragraph, I can do that using the perform statement. Any question, guys? I think I'm done. Wala na akong boses. Klaro ba?
Hello, sir.
May natutunan ba kayo?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, baka lang makalimutan ko. Meron lang, sir, akong email.
Oh, yeah.
Send
With regards to the installation, right? Nagkaka-problem ka sa pag-install?
Oo, nitong XP. Yung nag-download ako.
Okay, so that's why I ask you everyone to have a Skype account. That's why, okay, let's have,
Kenneth.
using ko lang tong Skype natin, no? Accept, sino ba to? Send me a message on the Skype account. Mas madali kasi tayo doon magkaroon ng interaction, communication kapag may problem. So, we have...
Pwede ko siyang remote.
Pwede kang tulungan ni Mark to view kung ano yung naging... Na-install mo na ba to, Mark? Di pa?
Yes. Yes.
Ayun. So, Mark is a technical guy. He can help you how to install the 3 softwares. So, kailangan yung i-message lang ako sa Skype para ma-add ko kayo sa group chat.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes. Give me a message on Skype. I will add you to the group chat of the ICPEP Cobol Training group chat. From here, pwede natin ilagay yung mga concerns nyo. From here, I can send you whatever I want to send about the program exercise. Okay. So, siguro, with this session, we will be having a next session next Saturday, correct? I will not give you an exercise this session. Walang akong bibigay na program exercise sa inyo. What you can have to do for this week is to install the software. Yun lang. Install the VirtualBox, install the Windows XP, install the Mainframe Express. Okay? Yung sa mga advanced na gusto mag-code, yes, you can do. Walang problema. Okay? So, magbibigay ako sa inyo ng sample code, which is yung dinidiscuss ko ngayon na Visam batch. Isisend ko to sa group chat para madali nyo makuha sa Skype. So, I will send this Visam batch. Okay? So, for you to have reference paano yung mga coding, yung mga statements, how to use the evaluate, or let's say, what is the if-else statement. Ayan. Kasi itong sample na program na to, meron siyang input file. So, although wala pa tayo sa files na sample, ituturo ko rin paano kayo mag-generate ng mga input files nyo dito. Okay? That will be next week. So, next week, expect, based on my guide, so natapos na natin yung 1, 2, 3 for this day. For next week, most likely we can finish, hopefully we can finish up to 10. Mabilisan na lang. Kasi 3 weeks lang naman tayo. Somehow I will discuss some of the GCL next week. Okay, so most likely yun yung expectation natin next week. To finish the 5 or 6 chapters, hopefully. Kasi ano naman, mag-advance reading na lang kayo kasi medyo parang mabilis na rin naman ako. Parang mabilis. And then at the same time, we'll be discussing GCL and how to create files in your Mainframe Express. Although, ando na siya. sa sinend kong guidelines kagabi how to use Mainframe Express. Okay? So much for that. It's 5:01 p.m. I want to be stick with the time. So next week, dapat 1 p.m. Siguro yung 12:30 to 1, nagko-connect na tayo, no? So sorry for that kasi medyo na-delay din yung aking Zoom link kanina. So most likely next week, maaga tayo checking ng connection at matapos natin kaagad. So thank you guys. If you have some questions, you can chat me on the Skype or hopefully I can respond. Okay, so if anyone have trouble in installing the software, Mark can help. I'll try to help as well dun sa Skype group natin. Yes.
Sir, nag-message na ako.
Yes, I accept. JD, in-accept ko niya si JD. Okay, add ko kayo dito sa Cobol chat group natin. How about Sir Darren? You have any question?
Ano po, sir?
How about si pangalan ng isa? Nandito na po ba kayo sa chat group? Diane and si Sammy? Ayan. Okay, you have question number, Christopher.
Answer.
Is it clear for you na magkaroon kayo ng idea sa Cobol na?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Christopher,
Very informative.
okay, Michael. Diyan, Michael.
No question.
Super nakuha na ba yung gagawin mo para sa yung batch presentation?
Medyo.
Parang habol kasi meron ka pa next week, oh. June ka pa July 1, June 1. Okay, so again, thank you for zooming in. Parang hindi na tuning in eh. No? Thank you for zooming in. You're my first batch after on the ICPEP, in terms of ICPEP. Kasi I've been doing this for quite some time. My last training was face-to-face sa mga tao dito sa Singapore, mga locals dito. So, yeah. So, kayo lang uli yung District 2020. So, with ICPEP, yan. Kasi wala na nga gusto mag-enroll ng Cobol. Wala daw gumagamit. Pero ngayon, gagamitin nyo kasi dahil pag nag-apply kayo sa Accenture, dapat meron kayong alam sa Cobol. Yun ang hinahanap nila ngayon. Okay? At saka Java.
Philippines, sir, or Singapore?
Even Philippines. May mga Cobol programmer din sila doon.
Sir, thank you so much.
Mostly the banks are still looking for Cobol programmers. And ano pa ba? BPI sa Pilipinas, yan, Citibank, yan, may mga Cobol developers dyan. Okay, so don't take it like, oh, baka wala na to, mawala. No, but for those talaga nag-venture out into programming, Cobol is the very first what I could say, one of the best platform to start with programming. Kasi napaka simple lang, right? Napaka lang yan, o display, move, etc. English like. Mahihirapan ka lang yan kapag may mga computations na, mayroon ng mga iba't ibang subroutine na tinatawag, may iba't ibang file na hinahandle, at may DB2 na yan. Kasi this is very simple actually. So, if you want to dig more about how Cobol, hindi lang naman mabilis yung 3 linggo na yon na 5 hours lang is not enough for you to learn everything about Cobol. Kasi how you're going to handle the different input like data files, the other is database. You have to know how to handle database as well. Diba? Yun. So, this is just a glimpse na matututunan niyo. Siguro pag nag-okay na tayo dito sa batch, maybe I will ask Sir Ryan maybe to continue on about DB2 para paano kayo naman magbabasa ng DB2. Right? Tables. Which is, ayun na ang pinaka parang future na rin naman ng mga Cobols ngayon na batch is i-migrate into DB2 yung mga Cobol codes. So, matagal pa, mawawala ang Cobol. Siguro, magbilang lang tayo ng mga 20 years? Tagal pa siguro. I don't know. Kasi kung makagawa na sila ng something na magandang UI for Cobol na hindi na kailangan ng mainframe, why not? So, parang like this, di ba? Pwede ako mag-test ng Cobol coding dito. Pag gusto ko na siyang i-migrate into mainframe, pwede na yun. Kasi from here, I can do testing eh. Pwede ko nang matest yung mga input-output. Okay, I think that's all na paraming sinabi ko. Sorry for the 6 minutes extension. So, kung wala na, next time, I need to hear from you. Kayo naman yung magsasalita. Okay, so good. Again, I will... Hindi ko ba na-stop ang share? Stop share. So for nagkakaproblema sa installation, chat lang kayo dito sa group chat natin sa ating Skype. So thank you John Michael, Mark, Christopher, Evelyn, Ian, Omer, and Sami.
Mr. Ryan.
So wala na si
Sir Ryan, thank you.
Sir Ryan. So they're busy na. So anyway, so kung meron kayong ipapahabol ng mga kakilala nyo, kaibigan nyo, yes, they can still come in. Pero syempre, mag-a-adjust na lang sila dun sa natutunan natin. So, advanced reading na lang nila or balikan na lang nila yung mga slides na diniscuss natin. Okay? So, have a good weekend, everyone. And thank you. I just end the call.
Thank you din, sir.